Welcome to the show. All things Bulldogs. Here we go, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Blue and white pride. Bulldogs for life. Dog father here. Gas by my side.
G'day, Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs, episode 32. We're live. We're on a bit earlier today and looking forward to breaking down the weekend, talking about what's coming up. 2 games after the bye before another one. Massive games. We're going to give it a little bit of our opinion on what we think the team should look like. Myself and Gas, we don't know what we would pick, so we might have some debates on that. But also what we think the coach will pick and why I personally would validate whatever they do, even if it's not what I would do. But we'll also spin the wheel this week, talk about Young Halves Academy. Good time to do that with Alex Conti having a really great game on the weekend. Previous 2 games are pretty poor, so just to put it in perspective, he's got on the KO and he's shined under the big lights, and that's a really good thing for us. We need to have those young halves getting closer and closer and closer to being ready for NRL. That's, as they say, the iron will sharpen the iron, and that's going to be important going forward. So lots to talk about. We've already got about 27 people on, which is a great start this early in. And big welcome to you, Gassan. How are you, my friend?
Mate, great after a win, of course, everyone. Nobody cares how they come, guys. You know, we've had a tough year. 2 points is 2 points, no matter how it comes. So absolutely enjoy it. It was great to be at the game yesterday. Just under 40,000 people. It was a good atmosphere. It was great weather, obviously, but the boys were gritty. They did an amazing job. And you know what? We got the points over Parramatta. How good is that? You know, hard to beat that, guys, over our arch enemy, Parramatta. So, good result.
Look, there's a white elephant in the room, and we will discuss it, guys. But in very important words from Gas there, and very chosen words. You know, it's easy to go out there and say what's wrong, and we're not stupid. We could see the issues there, but I think we're in such a privileged position now that we can actually look at the game a little bit and be really disappointed in not taking chances when we've actually dominated the game, and to do all the things right to get into that spot and then just do so many things wrong once we've done that. Should be that's a positive place to be in. I'd much rather be that than Parramatta or sides or where we were, where, yeah, you're tough and you're gritty hanging in there and you get two opportunities and you take both of them, essentially. Probably have a 50-50. It wasn't a howler, that thing with Galvin. That's under the rules, it was the right rule. Is it the rule's probably the wrong rule? I would look at. I wouldn't call it a massively bad call. I'd say that's like one of the 50-50 things, like the current thing last week. It didn't go their way. This time went our way. But Joe Eshim, what I thought was his best game in the NRL, from what I've watched, complete performance. Probably a little bit of justice from that head high he faked in the previous clash at Comback, which was very smart play. It was almost Josh Reynolds taking a dive into the turf with his head, sort of stuff. But look, we'll get into all the chats shortly, guys and gals. Sorry about my inappropriate ways of saying things, but yeah, lots to talk about. We're going to get right into it. We're going to look at the top 30, how it's shaping up, why there's been some great decisions that's happened recently around letting players go, and also players we've signed and what that means moving forward. But who's on the chat? Say hello to them for me, Gas. G'day to everyone. Gas is going to go through it.
Old fella Dave was first on. Evening, lads. Showy, welcome. Hello, boys. Any update on how bad the soft tissue injury that Dykes obtained yesterday? Sustained, whichever, yes. No
got
word
the feelers
yet.
out. Got the feelers out. Nothing yet.
No word yet. Just wanted to say thank you for the soft gel jacket he picked up from the Bulldog store after winning the spin-off last week. Congratulations again, mate. Well done.
Well done, buddy.
He's Showy lives around the corner from Bulldog store at Belmore, so he did his own dirty work and went and chose and collected what he was after himself. So well done, mate. Good stuff.
Beautiful.
G'day, Lockie. Good to see you this week, mate.
Hey, Lockie.
Catching up again yesterday, mate. Thanks for your insights during the game, buddy, and your passion as always. G'day, Lucas.
G'day, Lucas, mate.
Now, this is a lovely comment here, guys. So anyone who's watched Fast and Furious should know this, guys. Happy we got the win. Our attack wasn't pretty, but look at what Toretto says, guys. Whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning, guys. And we're glad it's against Parramatta, 100%, guys. 100%. I can tell you now, guys, for all that are on here at the moment, we have played better games this year and lost. Better games and lost. And not had 50-50 calls go our way. So when you get a result, guys, and you haven't had your best game, you take it, you put it in the bank, and you move on, guys. You don't criticize, you don't complain. Yeah, we know we can improve. That's fine. But we got the points. We can improve moving forward, guys. They know what they're working on. They're going to keep working on it. But it's got nothing to do with the coaching staff yesterday. That was all about the, concentration and finishing of the players yesterday. The coaching staff did their jobs during the week. The players yesterday were the ones that were supposed to execute, finish the plays. That's the bottom line, guys. So whether you want to talk about Ciraldo, Adam O'Brien, or anyone you want to talk about, at the end of the day, the players have got that responsibility on the field to finish off what they've started, guys. They did everything right. The game plan that the coaching staff set out, and we'll talk about it later with the stats, was all spot on. It's just finishing off, guys. And sometimes, like I've said it now so many weeks, comes down to a little bit of confidence, guys. Just having that ability to believe that you can do something can make a big difference. Some players are playing with that confidence. Satili, Karaz, and there's a couple of players like King. Others are just still 50-50 on the way they feel, and you can see it, guys, in the game. So we're not far away, guys.
We'll go into a full review, but
Joel Millennium, welcome. Messi, 2 points to once. Now we get some rest, 100%. And Michael will talk about how important that buy is, guys, especially considering where we've had our buys the last few years and where we've had our buy this year, and why this buy could shape the rest of the season for us, guys.
Yeah.
Can't hear anything. I'm guessing if everybody can hear everything, I'm guessing you might be alone, buddy. Check your sound settings. Not sure who this guy is. G'day, my fellow banner partner. Welcome, son.
G'day, Yaki.
Karaz robbed for an... Look, you know what? He is playing injured, and at the end of the day, I can tell you now, he didn't train much for the Bulldogs all week. He trained once towards the end of the week and trained very well and ended up playing. Unfortunately, for Origin, just like the reason our captain is not there, if you can't train for that whole week, you're going to be restricted from participating. There's too many good players out there. But I can tell you now that if he keeps doing what he's doing, he will get his chance, guys. He will get his chance. G'day, Brian. Welcome,
Hey,
buddy.
Brian's already thrown $10 into the spin the wheel.
Love your work, Brian.
Once we get to 100, and obviously people who can't reach the lives and are paying for Dogfather or above, they get a free ticket into the draw regardless.
G'day, Elaine, and congratulations to CJ making the most of his limited chances on Saturday. He did well. He did very well. You know what? As much as we always talk about positions in play, he could very easily play number 9 or anywhere else they put him. He's got that sort of stocky build. And you know what? We're short of number 9s in first grade. So if he can make that work, who knows? We can fast track him into first grade, maybe more than another position. So at the end of the day,
I was saying that to you the other day. I was talking to Elaine about it as well.
Yeah,
he can play anywhere, and that's an advantage. And
very big advantage, guys. Yeah,
he's got that size and shape that doggies like. Very low center. I don't know. I just love players.
How many tackle breaks we kept talking about when we were watching that game?
That's what I said. I said every tackle, he manages to break the first tackle every single time almost. He got pushed back once off a pretty sort of slow, sort of flat run. He had a few of those where they were sort of he was the bloke just lining up for the hit up, and I think they were getting a bit tired by then, but always broke a tackle. Which is
really special mention in that flag game, guys. My very own Aki was actually running the line as ball boy that game. So we did catch him on camera a few times. And I'll just warn you, Aki, try not to be taking videos of the players kicking the conversion as the ball boy, mate. Come on, buddy. That was unique. I like that. You know what? Probably something I would have done too. Don't worry. G'day, Timmy. Welcome, buddy. Good to see you again yesterday, mate. Thanks for doing the long walk to come and say hello. G'day, Bulldog Mike.
Hey, Timmy.
G'day, Dean Musa. Welcome, mate. How long? I don't think Critter will be out, to be honest. I think he'll still be back after the bye. I just think I just think he's probably just resting his body. He wouldn't have been able to train this week to play Origin. He would have been able to play, but not train, and that's why decision was made to pull out. And you know what? That's an unselfish decision. And a good one from a Bulldog perspective, for the rest of the season. And you can see yesterday, guys, when he puts his mind to it and when he's got a little bit of steam up, there's nothing he can't do. And you saw that with a few of those runs and post contacts and that, that will to win. But how much did that try mean to him? Have a look at his post try celebration, guys. That shows you how much that was special to him, and it was felt by us in the crowd as well.
I wouldn't have played him. I wouldn't have played him on the weekend, but guess what?
There you go.
The player come up with the 2 clutch plays. And before everyone starts saying Connor Tracy needs to be a halfback, it was a great kick by Connor. But take that into your mind when you go, he's on a close to $500,000 a year for a 2-year extension, because he's a player who can actually back up in our halves if needed, can play wing, can play centre, and can play fullback.
Came through the ranks as a half, guys, correct.
And for people to look at this dude sending me all these messages about, I tried to decipher it, but just putting shit on Tracy. I'm not talking about Paulie. Paulie's always liked Tracy, but just not as a fullback. He's been consistent for a long time, and that even when we're doing well. That's just in his head, and that's what he sees. And some of these things are right, by the way. But this guy's trying to basically just Connor Tracy was again courageous at the line, ran hard into the defensive wall. He doesn't run slow; he runs hard.
And got
Right.
hammered a few times, but kept bouncing back up again.
He got absolutely leveled through the hips and through the what he's putting his body through. That little dude.
Yeah.
And what 2 line breaks, try assist off the kick, which was perfect for Critter. Clutch play, and that was important. But
coming off a few weeks off, guys, and low in confidence to play that game first up, I thought it was a great effort. And for those of you who kept screaming out and saying why wasn't Carraz still at fullback? Carraz was just lucky to be on the field, guys. So Tracy was the one that trained very well all week. Carraz was supposed to take it easy out there yesterday and come in when he had to, but he can't help himself, guys. He sees the ball, he gets up there and he starts doing, and he's done another 6 or 7 offloads, his usual stuff, and makes that impact that he always does. But that's just for us.
He would have had over 300 meters yesterday, Carraz, if he actually took all the runs. He threw Tracy and the others probably 5 or 6 balls out of yardage. So
there you go.
And he still had only 1 less touch than he had as a fullback. Yep. I know they're forced or whatever. They're from the back, but he had a good pass. He had 1 good dynamic run. Andrew Johns did a big focus on it, saying his passing's improved. That's true, but the one area of his game which will only sort of come through repeated games at fullback is a big risk to take, and that's his lining up with the defence and his communication out there and getting that right. That takes time, and Connor's better at it. Yep. Just saying. But look, I see what everyone else sees with Carraz, and you feel, in a way, you might feel, I feel more confident under high balls and stuff, which means probably going to have to defend your line less, which means that you're probably not going to have the opposition having as many opportunities on your line. I feel Connor's still not 100% in that part of the game with his confidence, but he took some good balls yesterday. He ran up and but look, that's the thing. Like, even the commentators are focused on it. Voss wasn't as bad as he was the week before, but he knows they've got dot points there of every single thing that Bulldogs fans are talking about and what the media are talking about, and how to keep that loop happening non-stop that loop, and how it's going to happen. So for them to and it's great for the people saying all this stuff, because it's like, oh, look, see, look, Connor jumped up for the ball when he didn't need to. He could have just stayed there and caught it. Like, sorry, how about we just commentate the fact he caught the ball?
Yes.
Rather than trying to create a narrative around it.
Correct.
I know that's simple, and I don't have to defend all this stuff, but it's so obvious what they're trying to do. And then for NRL 360 to spend the whole segment to spend 96% of the time talking about how shit the Bulldogs were, based on the fact that so game management is more than what you do in attack. And these guys know this. This is what disappoints me. I can accept Brent Reid and Bulldog Richie saying ridiculous shit back and forth. It's an entertainment show. But I'm not going to cop it. This is why I sent a message to Joby. I said, Braith can get fucked. And I'm sorry for that language, but he knows what he's doing. We know what he's doing. So it sort of doesn't hurt me. I know that he's doing a job. But don't sit there and act all innocent about it and then go on your podcast and try and defend yourself. Come on, man. He's sitting there talking about game management as if the only part of the game management is when you're in attack. Galvin and Burton had way more touches than he had 10 more touches than the week before. He was trying to do a little bit more. They're both trying to get their hands on the ball more as a halves, as the first receiver and that sort of stuff, first and second, between them. swapping both sides of the field, linking up. They're trying things. And you can see the attacks change a lot because they are, through the use of forwards, building that momentum through the ruck. So where the halves are getting us to play the ball and where our forwards are taking us, it's not fucking under 14s where it's give me the ball, and I'll run it this way and then I'll crab back the other way and no one knows where it's going. It's, well, under 14s is a lot more structured now than it used to be. I can tell you that much. But maybe under 10s, we'll go back to there. It's not how the game's played. The halves are getting them into the right spots in the field, and we got ourselves down to where we needed to get. That was exactly what was supposed to happen against that Parramatta side, and they did it. And I know they didn't. It was frustrating and annoying to watch the bad passing from every player out there, pretty much. Terrible passing, and it's been a common denominator this year. I get that. But come on, guys. For these ex-footballers to act like game management is just the attack, I'll actually talk in the review what the one main issue is that we've lost. Our attack hasn't really changed at all over a long period of time. We've done everything through our edge back rowers. We've done everything through our domination of possession. But there was something we were doing as we were starting to evolve out of this hole that we're in when Burton arrived. And it's what creates a lot of opportunities for us. And we just haven't been able to do it at all this year. It should have happened a lot more even when we were winning games last year, it didn't happen enough. That's why Toby eventually sort of lost his spot. He couldn't maintain his ability to do this action while doing his defense. And it's very important. And we haven't been doing it. So I'll talk about that later. We'll keep that one up our sleeve. But let's get through the chats
There is
quickly.
a very great comment here by
review.
Brian, and it was something that a lot of us that were watching were screaming at as well, guys. So I think we have a support play problem. We're making line breaks, but no one to finish it off. And you know what, guys? I mean, we might not have the speed, but we need to have the players there in support. And I think sometimes, and you look at it yesterday, there were breaks made where some of the players were caught watching because they didn't expect it to happen. And when you're playing with confidence, guys, you expect these things to happen, and you're just pushing up naturally. And that's what 100%, Brian. That's a great comment. Like
It's been a problem all year.
We've been lacking on that, guys. We've had half breaks that could be turning into full breaks if there was that one more person. And you see it sometimes, guys, like teams like that are playing well, like Dolphins are pushing up, and there's an offload and like a pass. There's always someone there pushing up, guys. At the moment, where for whatever reason, and I don't know why, whether they're getting stuck in games or whether they're just feeling like it's just a grind and we have to – I'm not sure what it is, but we're not doing that usual push up through and run through. And then I'd rather they run through a few times and the pass doesn't come and then trail back again and at least be ready. Because you know what? If you're pushing up as well, you're going to put the defense in two minds, guys. At the moment, we're just making it a lot easier for the defense to defend us as well.
There is a lot of manufactured support play. Yeah. But there's no ad lib support play. And there's a big difference in that. And it also comes down to the amount of work they're doing and the amount of energy they're using. They're literally looking when certain players are getting worked over in defense and then getting the, as much as it's better to be running with the football and getting 300 meters running 20 meters before the defense hits you, as much as that's great, there is an energy cost to it. And what you'll also find, like Connor Tracy backed up on a couple actually and just didn't get through. He actually made a line break from a support play in the line, but most of our manufactured support plays, there's one where Carraz was running off, and he didn't get the ball. And I understand why he didn't throw it, but I think he should have, just in hindsight. But they're there when Carraz is coming out with the offload, they're all prepared for that. But there's a lot of these guys where they get to a point where they turn their back and they're setting up for the next play. Yeah, you see it way too often. We've actually there's been knock-ons where someone's trying to create something there, and because the players aren't supporting and staying in the moment and setting up for the next play, the opposition has scored tries against us because of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so these are the little moments where we're switching off. But something has to give, right? We lack a bit of speed. That's true. There's an action which I'm going to hold off on talking about it a bit. I want to get through these comments and of maybe we'll go back to some of them in the review and address them like in one go, because we've probably already done half the review already. But yeah, I really want to talk about a lot of that stuff, because it's one thing to just keep doing it and to be up for it, but there's an energy cost with it. And there, with so many injured players as well, like there's a reason why those things aren't happening. Parramatta, but it has been a problem all year, where we haven't supported enough off the cuff. And the way we're playing now with less block shape in attack, or even coming out, where we're actually making some inroads, like Bailey Hayward's making some ground through the middle. Our forwards are starting to realise they can have a genuine 1-2 punch like we had on the weekend, and it's been getting better and better and better. With that play and that off-the-cuff play, they have to support. They have to do that more. If they don't, with the lack of that's what's going to bring confidence to get us over the line. But there's one thing they have to work on and start getting some results out of it, which will change everything for us and bring that Bulldogs, those sort of tries that you saw us getting a lot in the last couple of years, getting the ball onto a winger to score in the corner. Players like Cherry and Critter and Burton close to the line and being able to, both edge back rowers just scoring tries consistently because the opposition's retreating or hesitant. Our opposition defensive lines have not been hesitant, and there's a reason for it. All right, let's keep going.
Joey's asking,
what's that mean?
Don't know, mate. Good evening, Bulldog Mike. G'day, Joby. Good win, buddy.
Hey, Joby.
G'day, Zachary. Show me Enzo. Welcome, buddy.
Welcome to you.
Good effort, proud of the boys. Not perfect, but great win. Yes. Another $20 pay ID, mate. Thank you very much, Lucas. Love your work, mate.
That's $30, guys. $70 off target. Let's go.
Toops, King, Thompson, reasons to be cheerful. Yes, 100%, mate. Dogs
of War are back.
Hopefully 2027 will be our year with star players not being injured. Yes, we can only hope. Don't care if we win 44-0, 1-0, 2 points, and it was against the bloody Eels. 100% old fella Dave. Well, good, mate. Forwards later, perfect platform. Yes. Glad we got the win. Sure, I've seen Ciro say what the hell a few times. Pretty much summed up our execution. Yeah. No worries, Elaine. Broden Con's a big fan. If he runs hard, has speed, good defense, I hope we'll retain him. When you talk about your top 30, Michael, you can discuss that one, buddy.
I'll talk about Broden. There was the last player of the game I was very impressed with, and myself and
that was
had a big cut about that.
Big effort play, that one.
Yep.
Omar's not happy with the performance. Hard to please, buddy. Was Critters try the first we scored of a kick in opposition 20 this year? Well, we've only scored 3 tries of kicks this year. So, Lockie, I did see that we're trying to play more eyes up footy, just needs to click in the gear. Yeah, maybe, maybe with the bye, just freshen up a bit. Like Michael said, all year we've been talking about our passes not being on the mark. And you look at that yesterday as well. So many times those passes were just behind, or not actually. And you know what? Yesterday they were way behind, way over, They were just all over the shop in a lot of areas. It was good to see though. Leo can fire a pass from left to right, which is the harder side, guys. 20, 30 meter pass. Even though that may have been better off going through the hands on that play. Critter said post-game he admits he's not played his best, but thinks still playing good for a AC joint injury. For a couple of weeks he's been scoring. Guys. Even moved into the 5/8 role there when Birdo went off, took the last kick there. Connor did look better, yes. He did say during the week, guys, that he was pumped and ready to go. And he was one of our better players, Brian, 100%, mate. Congratulations to the boys who re-signed during the week. Yes, I got to say, would have loved to see Preston's name there. I'm sure that's in the pipeline, guys. We all hope in the back end. He is going to be an integral part of our team for the next few years. So let's hope that takes care of itself soon. Evening also is glad to see the dog season still alive and make our way up the top 8, hopefully. Poor performance, but win is a win. Proud of the boys. Yes. Timmy, what have you got? Besides the 2 lapses, I thought we went okay. Gas mentioned yesterday we were trying to pass our way through to score, and sometimes it's risky to give away 7 tackles with poor kicking. The other thing as well, guys, is watching that game yesterday, even, I'm sure it would have come across if you watched it on TV as well. I just didn't feel like we were going to concede any points in that game. Like, until Parramatta scored those 2 tries in quick succession, I just felt like we had them under control the way we were defending. The only thing that was in our way was our attack was not, we put a few early points on in that first half. We would have built on that and kept going. But we kept ourselves close enough to them where we made 2 very poor lapses in defense and we paid the price. And that's been our problem this year. We've been making those really simple, stupid errors, and we've been paying for it straight away with points.
And against better sides, we won't win those games unless we actually take our opportunities. Yeah. And that's where most of the fan base, that's the context of the fan base walking away going, we're cooked, right? I get what they're saying. We had that. It's better to have that feeling that the opposition isn't going to score or do much. I had that in 2015 against South when James Graham went to block the field goal and they got about 6 last tackle penalties to bring him into the game. They never looked like scoring. They got an 8-point try from a ridiculous decision. They had no attack on us in that game, and we lost it somehow. But I know that feeling that you're talking about, Gas. But that's the thing. If we punish them on the scoreboard, we go and win by 40. No problem.
Yeah.
All right. But we can't. And because we're not doing that, and that's why the media and that are talking about the attack constantly. And that's part of the reason and why it actually fits and why they can actually stand by it and keep saying what
it was another expectation.
And it's a cross validation of fans with media because they're both saying the same thing to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday reminded me of the Dragons game at the start of the year. Everybody was expecting us to win by 30 or 40, guys. Mm-hmm. That was the expectation. But the players hear this as well. Don't think they don't hear this stuff. They hear it. So they're going out there thinking we should be smashing these guys. There's no one on their team that worries us. We should be smashing them. And they were playing that way. They did everything between our goal line and their 20-meter line. We were perfect. But once we got to that stage, the execution just didn't happen for us for whatever reason.
And in my belief, those 2 teams, the Bulldogs and Dragons, if they both played that Parramatta side yesterday, they would have won by 40.
There you go.
Just my opinion.
Yeah. But the expectation, though, the problem is the players.
So much pressure.
That's the problem. Our team at the moment are playing with their expectation. Already we're down on confidence. But when you got people talking about going out there and you're going to smash this team because, our injuries, Preston, kick out, whatever, no one cares about those. That doesn't matter to them. But when other teams are missing players, they're under strength. Like everyone we've played, they're under strength. They're down and out. But for us, it's never a problem. But the expectation is that we're supposed to smash that team. And yesterday, our guys felt that as well because they're going out there, they're going, even when they scored that first try, you saw it. They broke the shackles. They scored off the next set.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Then they got back into that grind again, but then they just couldn't. We had that chance to score 18-0, and then it would have been completely. I said to Aki, I said, but if we score one more, we'll go 30-0. In that second half. That's how it felt, guys. But you give them one simple error, one try. They did the same thing to us, scored off the next set as well. So both tries came within 4 sets, guys, for both teams. So Leo, 71 minutes. Wow, he's got a motor. Yep, we've spoken about that a lot in the off-season as well, guys.
100%.
Carraz was amazing in number 1, but last year I loved him. Oh, I've lost everything. There we go. Last year, I loved his skill with credit on the wing. Joby, love Tracy. Agree with everything you guys said, but I think Carraz will be our future fullback. Well, he's making it very tough for Ciraldo. Let's just say it that way. It's going to be a tough one. Carraz on the wing gives us to hard-working fullbacks.
Gives us 2, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I thought Tongo and King were enormous yesterday. Yeah, both were outstanding. And some of the runs that King did as well. Some of those runs that King did as well were unbelievable. Just dragging people out and taking big meters, 20 meters a run sometimes.
And I'll go into why that's occurring as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Joby. Yeah, they were great. It's okay, mate. We have the virtual swear jar ready for you, mate. So whenever you let loose there, buddy. Tim, whenever he swears, mate, you can do an extra donation, mate, for the swear jar for him, buddy.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to have a big finish the year. I hope you're right, Lucas. Whenever Carraz runs, everyone needs to be alert to push up just in case of a half break or a great offload or line break.
I think they do. They actually do.
They always are. They're always ready.
Bailey's always there. Bailey's always there.
Even though yesterday he did have a couple where he really, really pushed it out, like that one just before half time. That was a desperation trying to get something to happen there late. Looks like Bailey's getting more confident running. I think he ran 7 times. I think that's a career best, guys.
40 meters.
But I will say one thing, when we get to the stats, let's have a look at how fast those play the balls from his runs, guys. Think you'll all be shocked when you see that.
2.5 seconds.
Even less. The lack of speed is definitely what's killing us. It definitely doesn't help against against some of these other teams. G'day, Rudra.
No idea, Timmy. We won't. They're not going to let us know that. Just like they're not going to let us know about Kurt Mann's injury that kept him out. I shouldn't say that, but yeah.
New South Wales Cup result.
They've got to keep as much up their sleeve as they can, and they don't want all that info getting out. So opposition teams target them. You know, you can see that there's the way that they're attacking Critter's shoulder and stuff. Like they're hitting him in a different way to try and put him out of the game, to injure him. It's illegal assault, this game, and this is why I do not understand how people get on social media and act so tough with the stuff they say about these gladiators. Like, come on, guys. They are legends. All of them. We love this sport.
Can't believe how many tries we've considered from short side plays this year. Definitely need to improve that.
That's definitely what we'll talk about, that, Brian, 100%. Yeah. We have a few times, actually. All of us have said that.
Yep.
And we got punished twice again for it.
Eels had to bring up a lot of their reserve players from Cup. Surprised the Eels haven't retained Volkman. I'm not sure whose screen might have been mine, maybe.
It's looked fine on my end for everyone. So
glad you managed to get the win yesterday. What a blood driver game, though. Yeah, mate. Sometimes we just have to take the good, the bad, and the ugly, mate, as our mate Clint Eastwood would do. Don't care what anyone says. Critter's always clutch, no matter inform or not. Hope he heals soon. Win's a win. Up the Dogs.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Good job, everyone. So, look, we've got $30 in the kitty. We're trying to get it to 100, get a spin going. And Dogfather members, Cartel members already have a ticket in the draw. So thank you to all the continued support, people. Can we like these videos, please? And
yes, please,
support,
guys.
Share. Let's get some comments on stage. And let's, I think, start getting into the review.
Let's go, guys. 2 for 1 today, guys. 2 for 1.
That's it. What am I doing, mate?
The win might have been ugly, but it's a win, and only one team can get the 2 points. Yeah, but a lot of people were talking about how brave the Eels were. You know how brave they were. You know, they were talking about them in confidence and in good shining lights. But but for us, they were down and out. You know, doomsday. You know, people were putting comments from the media. Are we the biggest disappointment of the year? Who are the other 3 teams beside us, including The reigning premiers, guys. Come on.
with a $5 million, with a $4 million spine.
Exactly.
What about the Broncos? You know, both the Broncos and Storm.
Yes. Even
But
the
no one
Raiders.
cares.
Even the Raiders.
Oh,
They got a
but they're fast and they have great attack.
yeah.
Anyway, let's get this up. Thank you, Timmy. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Timmy.
Do 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 do. Logan Spinks must be close to a debut. He is. But
Special shout out, guys, this week, Thursday night. There'll be a very special player that's been named in the 23 jersey for the Rabbitohs against the Broncos, Jairo. So that's a special
nice.
special memento from the Rabbitohs against, obviously, the Broncos. So that'll be played at Accor Stadium on Thursday night. So if you're a supporter of rugby league, get down there, guys, and support that game. Anytime you get the chance to watch a game of footy, guys, take it and run.
All right, so let's make this ourselves a little bit smaller.
Yeah, definitely agree, Matty.
Yeah, Matty. Look, the bye. We've been 12 weeks without a bye now. This draw is ridiculous. The fact that the Storm and the Cowboys haven't even had one. So, Cowboys, you have to give them kudos to do what they've done without a bye.
8 wins as well.
Yeah, so they've done very well. Well done to them. And then we've got to look at the Storm haven't had one either, so they're going to have 3 between now and the end of the season. We're going to have our second. Some teams have had 2 already, like the Roosters and I think Souths as well. Whole bunch of teams have had 2 buys when another team hasn't had any. Is ridiculous. There's no draw. There's no way you should be able to release a draw where you can in any way suggest that's fair. There's always going to be some unfairness, but that is out of whack unfairness. Like,
well, so far, you're right. Roosters, Warriors, Dolphins, Sharks, Rabbitohs, Tigers, and Titans all had 2 buys, while Melbourne and Cowboys are still on 0.
How's that right?
That's
unfair
exactly
to them.
That's exactly right.
Look, like I can get someone's got to have a buy round 1 and someone's got to have a buy round 2. But there needs to be some sort of standard around, getting the spacing between games as good as you can, as far as buys go. But yeah, 12 weeks has been really tough for us, and we've had a shitload of injuries to key people. We've had to play people with injuries. Look, I get all these messages where people are like, "Oh, why isn't Kate like? Why are we using Tracy in the team when Kay Dykes is there and Rinnie Karma's there and all these players are there?" And I'm like, well, Rinnie Karma only just got back after about 5 games of Cup, and he's been struggling, and he's not the first choice. You've got Dykes, he's been building up to that, and now he's got a little soft tissue injury. So it's just lightning strike for some of these kids. But if they're not going to handle the defensive stuff, they're not going to get into the team. And it might it might be nice to be able to say, oh, yep, they help us with some attack and whatever else. But look, the team is struggling a bit as a team when it comes to getting it all right. But that happens to lots of teams and lots of clubs, and I've seen if they can keep the defense has been better the last few weeks, conceding less tries. I think we were like 15th in defense a few weeks ago in what we were conceding. We're about the 3rd worst team and the 2nd worst attacking team. Still the 2nd worst or 3rd worst attacking team. And now I think we're 8th or 9th for defence. So there has been improvement, and we've won 2 of our last 3. You can say that. Oh, but Melbourne were missing these players, and Parramatta were missing these players. Yeah, they were. Luckily for us, but still, we might have played better with the better players in the side. You just don't know.
Both our second roles are missing.
Both where we score most of our points. Where do we score our points against the Panthers?
Edge back roles.
Kickout and Preston. Then Cherry got one out wide. Or someone got one out wide. The point of the matter is that's how we play. But let's get in this review. Let's get into it. They said it's a reserve grade Eel side. I think that's a bit of a stretch. Isaiah Ongi, Brian Kelly, Simrani's played 6 games this year. Sean Russell's their first choice first grader. Josh Adokar, same. Joe Ash is a next man up, and so is Ronald Volkman. And that's in key positions, right? Get it. Luca Moretti is not reserve grade. Harrison Edwards, Pringe, Jack Williams, first grader. Kelma Tuolagi, first grader. Gideon Katonga, I would say he's a first grader now. Jack DeBellin is an experienced first grader. De Silva, top 17 player. Walker, 100% first grade player. And how good's this team come Brown and Tuavati? They're massive and move pretty quick. This guy's just been bought by Perth, Upper Twiddle. Charlie Guyman looked like he could be a really good player of the future. They've got enough talent there. Yes, we've got the better side, and we dominated the game as we should have. So they managed the game well. That we were just shit with our passing at the end of the day. And then we tried some things. You know, Bailey Hayward, if that ball has one less revolution, he goes from, 0 to hero. A couple of moments like that. Like, it comes down to moments. And Lipoy's, I felt he struggled as an individual to get into the game. I felt Josh Curran defended stoutly when he came out there on the edge. Jack Underhill, probably not as much energy in his carries as what we've seen.
They ganged up on him as well.
They wanted to smash Jack. Yeah, they did. And I felt he did a pretty good job. Harry, obviously, we lost Harry Hayes after 15 minutes. No one talks about that. Jamin then had to move from playing edge to lock. Tackled his ass off. They couldn't even get out of their own end for all but 3 sets in the entire match. I know with that dominance, we should have won by 40. Yes, that's right, but we didn't. But for the other part of the game, we did very, very well. But Leo and Maxi King, we talked about, I was very critical that the club, well, it wasn't critical, but I was a bit sad that we let Paul Vaughan go, who was apparently he's a bit of a, clubs don't like him, apparently, for different reasons. But he was one of the most consistent forwards I've seen in the modern era, as far as just every year he went around, he was like probably the 3rd best prop for New South Wales that you could pick every single year. And his statistics, no matter, who he played for, Canberra or St. George, were just so consistent. He just did his job every week. And Max King was really appreciated having him as a partner. So having King's relishing having Leo Thompson there. And it's not just because, and they're relishing each other, right? Because sometimes Thompson was taking first hit, other times it was King. They're both taking energy out of the defense. It's increasing the minutes they can play. It's increasing their post-contact. Like I know that there's some people who are watching Leo Thompson, for example, Gas, and they'll be saying, oh, there's a lot. I expected more. He's running off the back fence, but the 3 or 4 blokes are sort of smashing him, and he's not making much post contact all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but look who makes post contact off the next hit up. You know what I mean? Like, and after you get that initial 10, 15 minutes, then he starts to, make a lot more post contact, and it takes the energy out of the defense, and then our team starts rolling through a lot better. That's what I saw, and that's what I've been seeing in recent weeks. We dominated possession, and we dominated. We should have beaten the Tigers. Never felt really worried about the Storm game, even though we were down. Felt we were on top of that the way we were playing. Our forward pack is starting to aim up. I felt West's held us down really badly the week before. That's why they had 7-6 against them. But it was essentially, it benefited them. Look how buggered they were after that. Well, they go and lose 68-0 to the Panthers afterwards.
That's right.
We'll
curse
see how
of the
Para goes
post-Dogs.
this week. Who's Para playing this week?
The curse of the post-Bulldogs game, boys.
There's not too many There's not too many who win the following week.
They play the Raiders on Saturday.
But what were the comments from, some of the other people? It was the spoon bowl was being showed on the weekend. Well, I'm telling you now, we dominated that game in every statistic.
Let's go through those statistics, mate. Let's have a look. Let's talk about those things.
54 to 46 possession. An extra 3 or 4 minutes with the ball. With the ball completion rate, probably would have hoped to maybe 1 or 2 more completions out of that.
So if you want, I'll give you context if you want how it was at halftime as well, so you can compare. So we finished 54%, but at halftime we were 53%.
Okay.
In that respect.
And what were we with attacking runs? We ended up 224
if you go back up,
runs.
if you go back up to the completions we were 84% at halftime against Parramatta's 82.
Mm-hmm.
So
both teams playing a bit more footy in the second half. Game opened up a little bit.
So all runs, we were 122 against their 87 in the first half, and our meters we were 1142 against their 690. So post contact, we were 365 against their 277.
Mm-hmm.
We had 4 line breaks to 0 in the first, so they beat us 4-3 in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Tackle breaks, we had 40 tackle breaks to 17. So they were just behind on that one. So we were 14 all pretty much. Yep, 40. Yep. And line breaks, we spoke about that. So average set distance, we were doing 45 in the first half, nearly 46 against their 30.
Wow.
So there was a massive disparity there. So obviously for a 0-0 scoreline, you could see how dominant we were across every stat. For the play the ball speeds, so we were playing at 3.29 in the first half,
mm-hmm.
and they were at 3.39. So we both got a bit slower there. Offloads, offloads, we were 8-3.
So 4-3 second half.
Yep.
Got a bit tense.
Yep. Total passes, 158 to 127. Dummy passes, 21-10.
Mm-hmm.
Now kicks, it was 15 all in the first half, so it's pretty even for the finish as well. Kicking meters, we were 445 to their 568, and we had forced 2 line dropouts to their 1, so they picked up 2 there. Kick defusal, 33 for us, 60% for them. We had 2 bombs to their 5, and we had 4 grubbers to their 1. So defensively, effective tackles, we were at 89% at first half. They were 79%, so they improved in the second half. Tackles made, it was 189 to 203.
Okay.
And missed tackles. We missed 18 in the first half against their 40.
So 11
So
to 14 in the second half.
Yep. Yep. So errors, 5 to us, 7 to them. So they doubled. And we had 7 as well, 7 all in the second half. Penalties, we had inside 10 meters. There was 2 all, 1 to us, 0 to them in the first half. So they got
Mhm.
1. Ruck infringements, 2 all. Now, guys, you got to remember they're on reports as well there. There was nothing there, but they actually ended up having 4 players charged, including Talon De Silva, who copped an 1,800 or 2,500 fine for his shoulder charge to Matty Burton. So that stood up, guys.
Who apparently milked it, according
So that
to Tony Adams and everyone. Yeah.
So they had 4 charges, including Jack Williams. They had 4 charges. There was a trip. There was a few others there.
It was the trip on Talon De Silva.
No, it was on Katonga.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean though. Like,
Yeah.
I swear, Talon De Silva, when they're talking about when Tupanua was running up and he was taken off the ball.
Yeah.
I think he might have just touched Tupanua before his leg did, which is why it's technically not a trip.
Yeah.
But he stuck his leg out. Like you can see, he sticks his leg out a little bit, and it collects Tupanua. That's what I saw.
So what was the interchanges? How did that finish at the end there? So we ended up using 6 to their 8. So we only used 2 in the first half, guys, against their 3.
Yeah,
and we had one head injury.
And what people don't understand, I sort of go that I think we should have used another 2 interchanges, in my opinion. I'm using the energy, but from the coaching team, what they're doing is they're putting it on these players that are getting all the money, that have got the responsibility to win the matches for whom they're playing and for the fans and whatever else. They went out there injured, and they went out there and fought hard. And they got the 2 points. And I think it comes down to it at the end where it's like, well, these are the guys I trust. I believe in them. I've put belief in them. They believe me, and it comes a point where it goes, and this is what I was saying sort of in the lead up to it on the day when I did the New South Wales Cup review, which comes to Mr. Incredible. So I sort of got a bit angry in my response to it. And I even just put a little clip out about it before, but it's and I shouldn't have snapped the way I did, but anyway, I believe what I'm saying. The point of the matter is that the club and the coach and the whole team trust these guys, this best 17, to go out there and do the job. And so when he doesn't make an interchange, when he probably can throw someone on there a bit earlier, or give someone else a break. There's could be other reasons as well. The players are done, so there's no one to actually come back on. Really, like they're not going to add anything more. That's context as well, but it comes down to a lot to trust. I'm going to back these boys to bring it home, and they did. Yep. They did. Now, what Brian brought up earlier, Gas, about it'd be nice for us to show footage, but we can't. But the 2 tries. So what you notice in those 2 tries where they got us on short sides, we've talked about it all year. Matty Burton's been caught out a few times. Critter's been caught out. So we saw the guys are putting in effort. They've got an extra man in there driving the Parramatta player to where they want to go. It's almost like the opposition are sort of waiting for this. They know what we're going to do, and they know it's sort of hard to stop, and they know how to. And the dummy half is the key person in it, because the dummy half makes sure that they get in front of these tacklers and leave them stranded. And the player also being tackled moves in a certain way so that they can leave them stranded as well. It's not just like a ball goes and knocks them down. It's a 10-pin ball and some fall and some don't. There's a lot of strategy in this wrestle stuff with and without the ball and how they deal with it. And yeah, we got caught out with 3 men on the and they just lie and they knew what they were doing. It was great attack. Now we might call them shit tries because we didn't expect they were going to score, but they actually they played the counterpunch game. And this is what I'm saying. I'd rather be the team that's throwing all the jabs and setting it up and just having a bad day where are struggling to get the knockouts. They've got the knockout punches, but they're not getting them. Right? We're not getting the knockout, but we're setting it all up for the killer punch and we're not getting it. Or that last combination, we're just not getting it right. We're skimming their head with it. Just a fighting analogy. Whereas Parramatta are playing the counterpuncher, where they're sitting there copping the jabs, they're copping all the punches to the head. They look like they're going to go down. They look like they're going to crack. They're going to break. They're gutsy. They're holding on. They're doing whatever they can to mix it up. They're playing. They're getting really awkward in the ring, and then they know that their man opposite them is going to do something, which is their one weakness, and they're ready for it. And then they go bang, and all of a sudden we're on our heels and we're shaking, and it's 12-all. And look, I'd rather be the other people than the counterpuncher.
Well, I'll tell you what backs that up. I'll tell you something. People look at the last 10 minutes of the game, right? And everybody was critical that we weren't looking to take 1 point. So this was a big thing that people were just picking on, especially like the guys on the 360 yesterday. They were having a go at us for not going for the 1 point. Why weren't we setting up, etc., etc. Based on what you were just saying, and this is how I felt like we could still get a try there in that last 10 minutes and put it away. Same as what we did against Melbourne. I felt like we could get the try rather than just go for that 1 point. I felt like if we had to, when the scores were level, if we had to, we could take the 1 point. I know we didn't set up. There was one that was a shit kick. I think it was Burton that was sort of that was the wrong play on fourth tackle. But they were still thinking that they could just put the killer blow and put the try down rather than go for the 1 point and then give them 7 tackles if they missed. They were believing that they could still score because they knew that they had them on the rope. So when you get the feel for the game, you know that you've got them, you've run them down, you've made them tackle. They didn't look like they were going to do anything to us. They felt like we can get that killer blow and finish this game off. We were waiting for that one try yesterday. I didn't feel like we were going to lose that game. I just kept waiting for that final killer blow. Eventually it came because De Silva with a shoulder to the head. Now, anybody can call it whatever you like, but he got him in the head. And to be honest with you, the amount of times that our guys have reluctantly got straight back up again, it's about time that one of them actually copped it enough in the head where he actually stayed down legitimately. Because too many times we jump up and we don't play that searching for the penalty play. Now, if people want to criticize that, then good luck to them. There's a guy called Moses on the other side that's famous for that does that in every single game and does a big swan dive and theatrics, and he'd make a great player at the World Cup starting this next week. But that's something that happened to us, and I don't think it was a disadvantage to us. Even though Birdo went off, I still felt like we deserved that. And players, I said it last year, guys, in that game we played against Penrith when they beat us 8-6. Every opportunity they got where they could lie down, they were. And I actually said it, if you remember, we spoke about it for those who were around last year. We said other teams are being coached to play this way. And I feel like Ciraldo was coaching our team not to play this way, guys. We weren't looking for those cheap win at all costs. Now, you look at it two ways. If Ciraldo's job was on the line and the team was in desperation, they might turn around and say, and you know what? Yesterday, probably desperation, we needed to win. He got hit in the head. Yeah, you might be tough and you can get up, but you know what? You copped it in the head, mate. Stay down because you know what? You're entitled to it. And he got charged today. So 100% you've been justified in what you did. So at the end of the day, teams have been playing to get that result. We play that way when we have to. I don't like it. Max King got smashed in Penrith game. The guy got put on report well after. He got a broken jaw, finished the game, and he kept jumping back up again. That's what our guys have been doing, guys. Yesterday was an anomaly, but you know what? I'm glad we did that. You know, you were hitting the head. You felt it. It shook you around. Get what you deserve, because it happens to us too many times. But honestly, I felt like we could score a try still, even though, because we just needed one moment of someone doing something, and we could have got that result. So, you know, the only disappointing thing is in our attack, and I'm sure a few of you would have seen it as well. We're just not giving someone like a Carraz early ball, guys. And that comes down sometimes to Bronson Cherry, who gets the ball, tries to set him up perfectly sometimes. And you can't do that, guys, sometimes. You can't just wait for that perfect opportunity and say, here's a free run to the try line. Player like a Carraz sometimes needs an early ball. You let him create something and then maybe come back to you or whatever it might be. Too many times yesterday, Sherry didn't go to him, didn't like it, and then started doing his usual sort of step back in 3 or 4 times towards the goalpost. We need to be better at that. That needs to be something where, same as Critter when he's in form, you give these guys early ball, let them use their footwork, their offload, their pass, the backhanders. Let those players do that stuff. We're not playing at the moment like that. We need to do that a bit better. So,
look, I sort of agree that, like, Cooper Cronk said the same thing against the Dragons, and he said the same thing yesterday, and I agree with him, actually. I think they should have went for the field goal, and they haven't. Then Penrith go for the field goal. Yep. Melbourne go for the field goal. Roosters probably set up for the field goal, although you never know what they're going to fucking do. I think the best teams, I think they were backing themselves, and they probably expected that the opposition were thinking that they're going to go field goal at any point. And maybe they were worried they get one in front and then all of a sudden they're on their own line, and who knows what's going through their heads. But they need to play that siege mentality of setting it up. And the coach said it in the presser, like he was asked to, and he just basically said yes. He was asked a closed question. He said yes. But I want to clip this in what we're saying here around the reason why things aren't working out for us. And what it comes down to, I was sitting there watching along with some of these other podcasters and the people that are, just in that, just talking about, people we should have signed 7 years ago and 4 years ago and beating themselves up. And look, good on them. But the big thing here is we've lost our ability to score points from kicks. It's a fundamental thing, which is meaning that because we're not setting that up, not playing in a way where the kick is working for us, teams aren't hanging back waiting for kicks. They're in our grill. Now, I can see that Burton, Galvin, even Tracy, Bailey Hayward all tried a kick yesterday, and they all got criticised for it. And they didn't execute them at all, but they were trying something. And they need to find that over the next couple of weeks, how we bring the kick into our advantage. Not just in an aerial threat type of way, but the grubber. Teams have scored them on us. We're not scoring them like we used to. Now, we had Adokar there who could defensively come back around and catch blokes that got on the outside. He wasn't too bad defensively. And in attack, they're all worried about he's going to get on the outside. And as soon as that was happening, Burton just pinpoint, bang behind the line. There's the Fox onto it. So what do? They're in two minds. Because our opposition aren't in any sort of, they're not in two minds. There's not enough variation with what we're doing.
Yeah.
especially when we don't have a hard running edge back rower on the left. Makes it even harder. So that's all I'm going to say about with Cherry and Burton and Kraz on that side. It is harder because when you put Sam in there, as hard as he tries and whatever, he's
Not the
not
same.
a bad
Not the
bloke to
same.
have. Hey,
He's not the same as a Kicks or a Presto. Yeah, he's not the
yeah,
same.
exactly.
Yeah, he's not the
And,
same. He doesn't have that running threat. Yeah.
and look, Curran at full fitness when he runs hard, which he's actually looked all right, but they say they're doing so much work in defence. They play a hard elite style, and believe me, they want the players backing up through the middle. They want the edge back rowers running lines and being a proper option every time, and they want the guys doing the kicks. I'm sure they practice it, the in behind kick. Vossi's sitting there. Basically, he said it 3 weeks in a row. Galvin's the number one for set restarts, but what's the point?
Yep.
What's the point of it? Just
You're
to sit there and rather than highlight and say it's actually a good start for game. It's game management.
Yep.
Right. And Parramatta, they didn't even hardly do a short drop out. They kicked them long.
Twice.
Right. So yeah, both times. So the point of the matter is that if we had people like Josh Curran, Jacob Preston, centers, wingers, everyone scoring tries from kicks from about since Matt Burton come to the club. And that's dried up. Last year, Toby Sexton wasn't getting – someone like Toby Sexton, his strength was his short kicking game, and we didn't see it. Now, I know for a fact from training and that they were practicing it and they were trying to do it. But it just didn't happen. There was – when they'd work him over in defence and stuff, he used to stand up. He was gutsy as hell, but it took away from what he could do with the ball. And made it real hard. Like we could see Drew Hutchison, gutsy as hell, but just had nothing in attack because of the effort he put in to defend.
At the highest level, Michael, what was the play that killed New South Wales the other day that put Queensland 20-0 up? How were they scoring their tries? Kicking behind. At the highest level, guys, that was the execution that they were getting. We tried that a few times yesterday, like Michael says, but at the end of the day, if you look at there was one of them there that we kicked it for our front rowers. As good as Leo Thompson, these guys were chasing the ball, you need to just pick and choose your right moments. You need to be ready for that. Some of the kicks were reactive rather than instinctive and set up and ready. I'd rather they kick it slightly wider, someone like a Tupanua who's done it very well chasing those kicks, bit of speed. If you're not going to go to your wingers or your centers, but we need to be isolating those fullbacks sometimes, especially the ones that push up on the line, and creating that play.
Well, Queensland were able to do that because they effectively they targeted the front rowers so well in New South Wales, put them under so much pressure, and that's what they. If you go and watch it, they put Adam Fanua-Blake was just third man in the ruck court, having to run back. They weren't always running at him where he was they were always running near him. So he was coming in a lot of the time, but then couldn't get into marker half the time. He only got to slow down and play the ball probably 2 or 3 times in the game in that opening part. And what that does is start to open up space, and then you start to get numbers all skew with, and then people becoming all hesitant, and that's what opens up opportunities for that. We've got to start to get better at that sort of stuff in who we target. I felt Moretti was under the pump the whole first half before he went off, and we were making inroads. But that's back when we were doing where Birdo had that ball on a string. A lot of that was on like tackle 2, tackle 3, and they would be happy to do it. And then what that does then is that when they would run their shapes and run hard, the opposition are backing off. Our oppositions aren't backing off ever this year. They're
There's
all
no
up in our grill.
There's no kick threat. Exactly.
There's no threat. So,
It's
so they're
easier to
there.
defend.
And then I know I'm probably making it sound really simple and it's not, but we have to find a way to be able to bring that in, back ourselves and be like, okay, if the kick doesn't come off, oh, well, we defend it. I think they're a little bit gun shy with the rules because of the consequence of 7 tackle sets. So we have to do it. We have to have our players engaged in it, and they have to be prepared to, so that the opposition know that we're, if they act this way, we're going to hit them another way. And that's just simply what hasn't been happening. And now you score a couple of tries off those kicks. The effect on that when you're dominating the game is also massive as well. Like that turns into extra points for you, less opportunities for your opposition. There's so much with it, Gas. There's so much with it. And the final point of it is that when those players then have a retreating defense, players like Cherry and Carraz and Birdo and that, like, they know where the try line is.
They're coming to their own, yeah.
And they come into their own and they score those points. They're one-on-one with players that are sort of on the back foot rather than basically teams have been on the front foot in defense against us when we're attacking their line. And that builds confidence for them as well. So we're sort of playing into their hands. That's what I mean. Like, there was 40 points in ability and execution of that game plan between us and the Eels yesterday.
Yep.
But what's the rule with Canterbury and Parramatta games? It does not fucking matter.
That's right.
Who's in the team or where they are on the ladder. It's never mattered before, and it won't matter next game that we play them there. All that matters is who wins on the day, and we won. And we smashed them in all grades.
Doesn't matter, Parramatta.
Just a little chat here. I think Ciro was likely to make changes because Case Critter or Crows couldn't go to distance. Yeah, very good point. And Mr. Incredible, I sort of went at him a bit, as I said. He said, I should apologise for my comments on Trace the other night. Admire how you backed him, and I learned a lesson there. Much respect.
Thanks for owning up to that, mate. Thanks for your super chat as well.
And, yeah, really appreciate that, mate. And honestly, I admire your honesty with that. And look, have the courage to say things. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It's just when we sort of get to a point where we go, oh, we're stuffed because they've picked a certain player in another position. Understand there's strong reasons for it, and there were massive reasons why Tracy went into it. We will get into talking about the Manly team, the side that I expect to be named, the changes that Gas and I would make to that side if we were going to, and we'll take your feedback on that.
Did you want to go through some of the player stats, mate, while we were still on the stats side?
Yeah, look, well, a lot of it's been shown, but
on the plate,
I think no, that's good. So Bailey Hayward, 42 tackles. So we've got a comment on here from Tommy. You told me Hayward is improving and going well. He's shocking. How's he shocking? Because he did that little grubber kick. Was that shocking? Or was it when he got caught behind the ruck once? Did that make him shocking? What made him shocking? He topped the tackle count in a side that had 54% possession, which means they probably targeted him in the line a bit as well. But let's get into their statistics. Leo Thompson, obviously the man of the match. Max King closely behind. But look at that. Now, normally we're only getting 20 minutes out of one prop and 45 out of another, so 65.
Yep.
We're now getting 100. That's 121 minutes. So So an extra 15, 20 minutes. No, that's a lot more actually, isn't it? Yeah, that's just over an hour to being over 2 hours. So we're getting an extra hour on the field out of our two props. That is a really positive thing for us to move forward with, and I'm excited about that. Sort of, how long did Lipoi play for? Only 18 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with Lipoi. Like, he's a lovely guy. He gets in there. He was having a crack. I just feel he could be having more of a crack. 3 runs, 32 metres. Had some post contact. 18 post contact. And how many tackles did he make? 7. Let's look at Bailey Hayward. 42 tackles, 1 missed, none ineffective. But he's shocking apparently.
And 40 metres is the most he's run this year. And he earned one of them as a repeat set as well.
Yeah, got us. That's the second penalty he's got us this year. He got us one in Queensland against the team. I think the Dolphins.
Yep.
6 runs, 35 metres, 2.3 seconds play the ball speed.
2.3, guys. There you go. 2
tackle breaks. I'll give the kid a break. Seriously. Oh, 35 dummy half metres, but 40 metres in total out of 7 runs. Jamin Salmon, 14 runs, 127 metres. Now let's have a look at Salmon's receipts in this game. Where are they? Receipts. 22. Leo had 22. So someone said, Salmon's back in there doing all the block play stuff. Well, I think you'll find there's a bit more sharing of it. Galvin, 76. I like that number for him. Burton, 60. I think there's potential in that. Jacob Crow's 34. Now, if I go back to previous weeks, Salmon's having more touches than that. You then have a player like Kurt Mann having more touches, whether lock or hooker. But Jacob Carraz, 34. Cherry, 25. Critter, only 16. And it'll be 43 for Connor. So got his hands on the ball a lot, but he obviously had 30 hit-ups for 286. Now, Carraz, 27. Carraz could have had 32 himself, at least.
And Tracy had 168 of those metres in the first half. And Carraz had 137 in the first half.
Connor Tracy, 137 kick return metres. Post contact, 72, which is not too bad. That's 25% of his metres were post contact. 83 for Carraz. Birdo had a lot of runs again. How many runs did he have? 16 runs for 135 metres. And Galvin ran the ball again, 20 runs for 188. Galvin's one as well. I find when he runs, there's no support whatsoever.
Galvin ran 115 metres in the first half alone.
Yeah. And that's exactly the type of game we're playing. We're making inroads through the middle. They probably did one too many shifts when they probably should have kept going down that channel, I believe. Look, we should have put on some points, but I remember against Newcastle last year, who were depleted. We led 2-0, went on and scored 30.
30-0, yep.
What was our first try? It was a kick.
Karen
fell on a ball that bounced out somewhere.
That's right. Then we got on the roll, yep.
Yeah, and then we scored some tries through the forwards. There was nothing really sensational about our attack at all. And I'm not trying to have a go at them. Like, that's probably what we expected yesterday. When we got 12 points, the cartel, Dogfather and cartel members that were there watching along. They sat there and I don't know who rang, but we all answered. There was 4 of us. It's good to chat to you guys for a few minutes, and we said, can we just win this game once? And then what happened?
How many times do we have to win games twice, guys?
I know. That's what we're talking about.
Screamed it out at the game yesterday. Can we stop winning games twice? Seriously, it's just too often, guys. It's same thing last year when we were on the winning run. We were coming first, or whatever you want to call it. Same thing happened. I don't think much has changed. We just seem to keep doing that. So, but
Bronson had 6 missed tackles on the edge yesterday. That's not very good.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice that. Now, Galvin missed that tackle that led to a try, but as I said, short side with a massive bloke running at him, and then the cover missed him as well. But generally, he's been pretty good defensively for us. But for someone to say Bailey Hayward is horrible, 42 tackles, and a whole mixture of tackles. Like, he's getting in low, cutting blokes, he's catching blokes, he's been picked out sometimes. And he had his hand on the ball 137 times yesterday and passed it 134 times. It's massive, massive. 52 passes for Galvin, 42 for Birdo. Salmon, how many did he have? 9 for Salmon. But apparently Salmon was, according to people, for 64 minutes of the match, apparently he was slowing down our attack. I heard it on the TV. It sees people booing Salmon when he takes a hit up. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's infrequent, mate. But I don't think it's very, very, very minor in that minority, mate. It's not.
They're screaming loud.
People. Look, I'll tell you what it is. People, when it goes to Salmon sometimes what he'll do is he'll straighten up and he'll just take the hit up, right?
Yeah.
So he won't look to distribute. And people have been, some of them were complaining about that because they just want to keep seeing 5 tackles of spread, which you can't do. You need to get the teams. Someone needs to straighten up, get them tackling, get the defense retreating. Yeah. You come in the next wave, guys, because he gets a fast play the ball. He's the ideal man for us to do that because his play the ball speed is the fastest in our team. So you want him to be the one that does that quick run, dump, play the ball, and then we come off the back while the team's still getting back to the 10 before they come back up again. That's why Salmon sometimes does that, guys. But people think because he's doing that and you want to see that spread all the time and, score or whatever, generally he'll do it on 3rd, maybe 4th tackle, guys. He won't do it anymore after that. So,
thank you. Thank you,
Brett. Off the Bali. Well done, mate.
Enjoying the buy in Bali, mate.
He's gone for the buy round, so he doesn't miss any games. Good stuff, mate. Good choice. Look at that. Love how people plan their holidays around the Bulldogs.
Just don't wear your Bulldogs jersey if you're going to do anything wrong, mate, because
he won't do nothing.
They'll be all over it.
He won't do nothing wrong.
Bulldogs fans aren't allowed to have a week off in Bali. You know that?
Oh, God.
Players aren't, or the fans.
Oh.
That'd make the headlines for sure. Thank you so much, Rhett. That brings us up to, what's that, 16 on the 46, 54 to go, guys, before we have our next draw. Beautiful stuff. Thank you so much.
Heinze loves it when the Titans beat the Broncos.
Yeah, me too,
Reece
mate.
Walsh got embarrassed by Philip Sammy. Yeah, love it when little brother beats the big brother. And I'm sure, how's the vibe around Brisbane at the moment, mate?
Oh,
you loving it?
I am, but they honestly, it's more about Queensland. Broncos fans are like.
Well, if we can win in MCG, mate, that'll really fix the mood up for you over there, mate. The Queensland is supposed to put some flag up somewhere. Is that still happening? If there's a series loss?
Probably on the Story Bridge. They'll do the colours of the Bulldogs.
Not sure when that
of
game
the Blues,
is.
I should say.
For Dry Arrow. It might be in July, mate, for Try July, whatever. Timmy missed only one. Bad luck, Timmy. If the results fall our way next few weeks, we could be sitting on 20 points. Yeah, we can only keep pushing, guys. Not a fair balance on the buy system in Kia Ora Doggies. Yep, thanks to Hebrew. Heinzie, if we go on a winning run, we could be back in the top 8 by around 20. That will depend on other teams starting to drop off. Well, look, this season has been a really wild, other than one constant, which is, well, let's say 1.5, which is the Panthers and the Warriors. Everyone else has been, very erratic, especially some of the bottom teams. But yeah, so it could be an odd one.
G'day, Tony. Thank you again, mate.
Thanks for your support, buddy. That'll boost you up, mate.
I've got a beautiful photo of Tony in his beautiful soft-shelled jacket. He got the last of the size I wanted, so I can't get it either. So thanks.
That's it.
I'll tell you though, you look better in it, Tony. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, mate.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's Paul Vaughan, mate. The one we got for the Dragons. Yeah, he was sick. Yes. Scrappy win, but a win is a win. That's right, Harsha.
Thank you, Harsha.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the Eels. Yep, Timmy. They play Canberra. Thompson runs fast at the line with no step or fence and makes more meters before he gets to the line rather than post contact.
Good point.
Yep, that's right, Brian.
And he eventually does get the post contact.
Yeah.
Amelia used to get smashed a lot early too. He used to get crap, but he just keep going. Yeah. And Thompson's a bit the same.
Thompson will also, as we start to get better, guys, he'll start to throw a few more offloads. Just watch out for that. Trust me. Timmy felt like Todd Smith let the game flow. I think you're right, Timmy. He was very reluctant to blow any penalties or 6 agains early in the game. I mean, there was a couple where I felt like we should have got some, but he just let them go. And I was like, as long as he does it both ways, it's fine. Why aren't we putting points on the board despite the dominance statistically? Look, there's a lot of factors like we've spoken about, but I honestly believe it's just a confidence thing. I just think the execution, the final pass, just things, just basic things, guys. Think about it this way.
Pressure.
They've done everything they can to get themselves in that position. So from their perspective, everything they've been coached to do, they're doing it. Just to do that final bit to get them over the line, like Michael said, when you're not getting the variety through your tries and kicks, and when you're not doing other things like you're executing your plays and your passes are crisp and hitting the mark, ball out in front on the guy's chest. Every time that you pass a ball that doesn't hit the mark, it takes a split second for the guy to have to pull the ball in from wherever side or height that he has to get it from. Gives that defender a bit more time to get to him. It's going to impact the way that we play. So, and look, we're not even a threat at the moment from long range, guys. So other teams have got long range threats. I mean, we did a break the other day. We came down, but we got tackled. But other teams have got that run threat from long range. And even against us, guys, we conceded tries long range. So that's just, that's just the way it is. To be fair, Ciraldo did say they should have set up for the field goal. Yep, Zach. And look, I still felt like they had enough. I felt like they were going to leave it a bit later, like in the last sort of 4 minutes. But maybe the set where Birdo got hit, but who knows? If we kicked the field goal with 15 to go, they would have said we were just trying to hold on. Yeah, mate, very true.
Yep. Damn if you do, damned if you don't.
By the letter of the law, the penalty was correct, like last week. Plus, a lot of fans were blowing up because the charge down penalty was correct by the letter of the law. Look, that's just the way it is. Exactly, Timmy. Sometimes you win them. Sometimes you win them. Sometimes you don't.
Fix the rule.
Risk versus reward in the opposition 20. Yeah, Timmy, no worries. Galvin gets the dropout out. It's up there outside the backs, and a second rower gets the ball back off them. So, yep, well pointed out, Brian. They need to get Joey Johns down to training to help out the halves with their short kicking game, or at least get them watching videos of him.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Maybe Shifty Sherwin can come down and help out.
Well, Shifty has helped out a lot, and they've got the Halves Academy, which I actually wanted to talk about. Because there's posts at the moment, one that just come up. Surely Alex Conti should be our number 7 by now. It's someone who didn't know his name last week.
That's all right, guys. I mean, if you've watched him every week, guys, you'll understand why he's still in development, guys. Good player, good prospect, but still not ready for first grade.
Maybe next year.
Yep, our kicks are the same problem as our support play. No one there chasing them through. That's right.
No proper
Abraha,
setup for them either, though. No
That's
proper
right.
setup.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot more communication, guys, about those and set up. And sometimes you can be set up and ready for it, but it doesn't mean you have to pass it. The opposition might look up and say, hey, they're setting up for a kick, and then you end up spreading it. These are the little things that we're not doing well.
Ben Roberts.
Had a look at the draw of the teams in the 8, and the only side I saw that may drop out are the Knights. I only say that because the Knights had one of the easier draws at the start. No such thing as an easy draw anymore, mate. Come on. Tommy, if you can't see that Bailey Hood is not improving, then you're blind and not watching him correctly.
Thanks, Lindsay. Good stuff.
He's getting better every game, guys. I mean, earlier in the season, he wouldn't have taken all these runs and everything, but now he's getting confident to, he would have noticed that the other day he's made some meters, taken some runs, and played 80 minutes and done everything. That's going to keep improving as the legs get better and better doing that.
Maybe
I
we
think
see
the Tigers take the 9th spot. None of the top 4 last year make the 8.
They've got the potential, but 68-0.
Yeah. 68, 40s, 50s. They've copped too many guys. It's too much.
Can you imagine if we got 68-0 on us?
Ugh. How come there hasn't been talk about that anyway? Is it because Benji Marshall just took it so calmly? Is it because Benji Marshall took it so calmly and made it like it was just a few little things? When we copped the 66-0, we were all at Rookwood, guys. We were burying that team.
I'm going to actually give you some context on that because apparently,
while you're looking for that, anything further on Clayton Fualalo from Manly?
No.
Okay, Clayton is
I'm
out
hoping.
injured. Turbo will likely return.
He'll probably be there when we play. Generally goes all right on a return match. Where is this game? So who is the ref for West versus Penrith? Is it usually on the team list?
Yeah, it'll be on
here it is. Green Atkins, John Stone, Chris Butler. Now let's see if any of those guys are reffing this week. Won't be a sec. You can keep talking, mate.
Yep. Manly will end up top 4 this year just because of how much easier their draw is. I suspect Foran will win Coach of the Year, but he will struggle next year.
Well, they had an easy draw to start the year and they completely messed it up. They lost 3 at home.
3 home games in a row, yeah.
It cost Seabold his job.
Killer Man should be back after the bye. And especially, people look at it and try to compare the Dragons changing coach and why aren't they doing well. Look at the roster that Manly have had. That's why Seabold got sacked, guys. Because what he had at his disposal and what results were coming was the problem. Flanagan wasn't having a roster that he could do what he did with. And look at the first game that he wasn't there. They still copped 60-something on the Anzac Day game. So Killer Man should be back after the bye. That's right, Timmy. Abraha's got Penrith winning the premiership. Also, he doesn't see them losing a game again this year.
They'll lose again. Don't you worry.
You know why? Because they might not play all their team guys in the last round or two, so don't worry.
I reckon they'll lose 2 more. I reckon they'll lose 2 more games by the end.
Nobody knows what Galvin is going to do. That is why. Same thing with his kicks. No chase because nobody knows what's coming. Thanks, Eck.
I think sometimes he does fall out of. He does pin his ears back and plays up, but so does Birdo.
And just as a follow-up,
that's the thing. Oh, we've got 2 runners.
As a follow-up, Eck is saying Galvin needs to start demanding his teammates get into the position he wants them to be in.
I see him barking a fair bit out there, which is good. And he'll only get better. But he is a kid. That's what I mean. When they say he's only 20, these things respect, all of it. It's earned over time, and we'll see.
Hayward's problem is his service.
That's the difference with Mitch Woods. Why Mitch Woods has probably got this bit of aura about him as far as the Bulldogs go, and is that when he does play in a side, they tend to lift, and they tend to, and he is a bit of a barker, and he's quietly spoken and stuff, but he knows what
He's driven. He's very driven.
He's very driven and instinctive, and yeah, he's a half. He's a
I saw
spine
him.
player.
I saw him again last week. We see him often. We saw him last week again at the signing night at the Leagues Club, and he was sitting with a few other players, and I reminded him, and both of them, I knew something that was still bothering him. I said, when he played his first game for New South Wales Cup, he had a chance late. The game was level. He had a chance late in the game. He took a field goal and missed it. And I said to him, I said, I'm sure that's still burning you. And he knew exactly that was something that still bothered him because he wanted to ice that. But like that's something that's his pride. That's something that he wanted to take on his shoulders and get that result. And that's what I wanted to see, guys. I want to see that player that some of them you think, yeah, who cares? I missed the kick. Who cares? But no, that was something that I want that result. I want that. I want to have those moments. I want to own those moments. And that's what you want to see. That's why I reminded him because we were there. We saw it. I'm like, come on, just kick that goal. And he missed. That would have been good for his confidence, but it's driven him in another way. Eck is saying that Hayward's problem is his service far too slow. I don't agree, mate. If you compare him to any other hooker, even if you just compare him to Al, like the difference between when Man or anyone else is there to when he's passing them crisp off the ground now, hitting the mark, he's firing them out there. He's been improving every game. So Hayward is not the problem, guys. He's not the problem.
Look. There's things in his game where he can. Sometimes he's engaging, where he's not engaging. A side or B side,
or going the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going the wrong. Look, but Reed Marnie used to do that, make the wrong thing, and he still does. Goes the wrong way. Reed Marnie's elite off the ground. I never felt he actually was elite enough at the Bulldogs. It's like he carried a lot of head demons at the Dogs for some reason, and it affected him. I think he's playing with a little bit less pressure at the moment.
Because he was the captain and got dropped after 1 year as the captain in a disappointing season. That would have still burnt him.
He's just up there doing his job. He knows what hard work's about. He works hard. He tackles hard. He hasn't been outstanding every single game, but they knew what they got and he's given it to them. But we'll see what happens when against Canterbury earlier in the season. If you had to say who the better hooker was for the first 20 minutes, it wasn't Reed Marnie. He came into his own. I think when we let them off the hook a few times and then a couple of things went wrong, he then warmed into it and played really well for the rest of the game. But he had the demons to start the game. He was nervous and we didn't take full advantage of it. Hindzy.
Once our players start supporting each other, our attack will flow and improve. 2027, our attack will be better once Galvin and Hayward are comfortable in their positions. Look, and they can only get better, guys.
They need time.
Did you hear what they said the other day? Did anybody watch the game with Penrith against the Tigers? Did anyone see the way that Cleary was dominating? They were saying that he is currently in career best form, guys. He's a guy that's won 4 premierships. He's currently in career best form. Think about it, guys. Halfbacks continue to improve as they get older. They learn a lot more. They get more comfortable in what they're doing. We're talking about a 20-year-old. No wonder Ciraldo keeps mentioning that he's got a 20-year-old there because he's trying to calm everyone down and put context. But everybody wants to believe that he should be the finished product. We're not expecting him to be. Don't think it is the other way as well.
Yeah, it's not as – for some people it's as mind-numbing as that. But for most people, the reason that they're saying it is because they're putting it on it that based on all these fabricated, manufactured, all clubs are the same, all clubs have the same opportunity in life. All clubs have the same salary cap. You have 3 years in the job. You get your team you want. You had a team that was winning, and then you went and bought someone and put them straight into the top job. You dropped 2 other players, and now we're losing. That narrative just is very easy to play. And if I'm an alien coming from another planet and I read that, I go, oh, that sounds like pretty good logic. You and I know, and many of the supporters know, that we don't have the team in its. We don't have the experience in the key positions. I understood. I had some big fights with people who were like, you don't go and change a hooker who with experience for someone who's not. I'm like, well, you do if you understand what that hooker's basically done to our plans for the next couple of years. So, and we have to get on the bike now. And they just made the call to trust the guy. And I felt Hayward did a good job. Go to that game in Melbourne. He got busted after 10 minutes. Blood splattered all over his face. Yeah, he missed 11 tackles, but he attempted 63. And we still nearly won the game and should have won the game.
Should have won the game, yeah. Should have won the game.
This is what I mean.
Absolutely smashed by the referee in that game, guys. Absolutely disgusting.
Destroyed.
Absolutely disgusting.
And then Critter slams the ball down. Happens this year 5 times. Nothing to see here. But yeah. We know that what Galvin is going to be, it's about having good players in our system that are going to become experienced, very good players over time, while all these young guys that we can get value out of our cap from come into play. And that's it. If you're not getting value out of your juniors, you're not going to win comps or go close. The fact that Ciraldo has been able to pull a whole bunch of blokes together, well, some money ball shit happening there, you know what I mean, which has been compared. Some total football stuff with having people ripe for every bloody role. He made a team that wasn't competitive, very competitive. Someone posted up on Twitter the other day. Tell me one player that's improved under Cameron Ciraldo. I sat there and named 18 or 19. Tell me one that hasn't improved.
Who would be picking Max King to play all 3 Origins last year, guys? Any one of you put your hand up and say, yes, he deserved to be there for all 3 as a player playing for the Bulldogs. That he was a player that you destined. He's an Origin player. He's an Origin player.
Was his game Origin level on the
Before
weekend?
He came?
100%
yes,
it was.
Exactly. He's an unlucky guy now with all these other players back and just this fascination with Fanua Blake, like he's some messiah. He's nothing, guys. I don't rate him at all. He's a solid player, but I don't rate him as an Origin player in that league.
He's better in the second stint, and I think when they break it down, I'm just going to give a shout out. There's an old player. I think he's called Elijah Taylor. He's literally letting all the secrets out of how games are broke down, and like better than the halfbacks out there that talk at the moment. I feel do a pretty good job. Like Johnsy, and I feel Andrew Johns has done some good stuff lately. He's actually picking up, getting better at his analysis. Not saying he was bad at analysis. I just think he's giving us more than what we had before. There seems to be a bit more. There's a bit more competition in that space than there was. It was so dumbed down before it wasn't funny. If we freeze it here. But the way he's been breaking things down has, opened up my eyes immensely. And I'll regurgitate that and parrot that out as much as I can, because it needs to be heard, what he's saying. Just speaking to young kids and how they're preparing and their mindset from that side of it, but also breaking down the game and what's actually happening over a 15, 20-minute period. See, we've always done that here, where we've always talked about how play 1 leads into play 4 and into play 5, and what that can mean and what it should mean. Having prop number 1 and prop number 2, hit up man 1, hit up man 2. While it might not be a familiar way of the way they say it on the rugby league field, the way that I view it is that you've got someone who takes that first hit up, takes that energy, and then you got someone else who can back it up, and then they can go for long minutes and keep tackling and keep getting back in the line. Different things happen with your roster, with what you can do and different things can happen on the field. And we're seeing different. We saw different. We played that game differently, in a way. We play on the. What we're starting to see is the team looking more dominant through the middle, and that needs to continue. And these young guys, and that gives those opportunities for those young guys to come into our pack and contribute on the front foot rather than coming on and having to defend for 6 sets in a row and then never see first grade again, which makes it hard. But a lot fitter our juniors coming through now.
Yep.
They have the club has to be complimented, not ridiculed, for the performance of the juniors that have come into our team. Yep. Let's look at New South Wales Cup, shall we?
How long do you have to talk about this one, mate?
5 minutes. Tay Cochrane. Great return from Tay. I felt he asked questions. He played well. Yep. He's obviously been injured. It was great to see him. Nick O'Mealy, 4 tries. The last try. So I think it was Hines. He talked about Broden Cons. That last play to get the
kick the ball ahead and
kick it ahead, pick it up, and have the
no one was on him. Jumped up again.
Yep.
And then O'Mealy still had a lot of work to do to get that try. Still had to step back in and beat a few.
59% possession, 85% completion, 34 from 40. The other team only had 31 sets. 162 more runs of the footy, 700 more meters, 100 more post contact, 9 line breaks to 1, 48 to 26. Average set distance an extra 8 or 9 meters. Kick return bigger. Play the ball speed 3.33 to 3.41. 13 offloads to 1. Jack Todd, second player of the game on his return. Breaks through a tackle as he's coming down. Offload to Alex Condy backing up. There's the word for a beautiful try. Lots of dummies, lots of kicks, 1 dropout each. They only defused 2 bombs. We got all of ours. Defense, only 26 missed tackles. To be honest, 48 missed tackles was probably at about another 7 or 8 misreads with no tackle, with no hand on the player. 4 penalties each, 1 ruck infringement each. 2 of our guys on report. I think Gordon might have been on report. Gordon Chan Kun Tong.
Thundercalves.
He did quite well. He Patrick Young had to come on and play 5'8" instead of hooker, so Gordon stayed in the hooker role. The last 2 weeks he's played 50 minutes, so played a full half, then come on and played another 10, 12 minutes, and then gone off.
Scored a good try, guys, chasing a kick and diving between 2 Parramatta players to score before the dead ball line. At desperation, just chasing, don't stop, guys, never stop.
Muhammad Alamuddin, I think Zane is his brother who played in the SG Ball this year. Did a pretty good job. Mickey Nasser showed a lot of speed, a lot of toe when he ran away off an intercept, I'm pretty sure. But Gordon, 70 minutes. So they're getting the minutes into him. I think there's a chance he could be in the running to be a number 23 come next week against Manly, being his old club. I think that might be a chance. They might name him in that. Louis Grossemi played well again. Not many runs with the footy early on, but did all the good work. Never stopped working. Patrick Young, 3 runs, 55 metres, 11 tackles. I like Patrick Young, did a good job. Jack Todd, in his return, he had 10 runs for 89 metres. He made 18 tackles. Finau Latu, 21 tackles. Justin Matamua played quite well. He's getting better. Finau ended up playing 44 minutes. Jack went hard for 29. Broden Cons, let's look at his stats. And Angus Fay, for the second week in a row, played a lot of minutes. Broden had 40, 15 runs, 108 metres. He might have had some offloads as well. Let me have a look. Well, he had a line break assist and a try assist, I'm pretty sure. He had 2 try assists for Broden Con, so well done to him. Anyway, and let's get to this last bit. How many tackles did he make? 18 tackles, 1 miss. Good to see Tay back. He would have had quite a few runs in the end. 18 runs, 127. And yeah, Cade Dykes comes off after 50 minutes, was looking good. Sasai had another strong game, some important runs. And Alex Conti, by far the star of the match. But coming along in our Halves Academy, they need to be complimented. They're doing a good job. They produce spine players. Now, the academy doesn't just, you don't just graduate from it and end up an NRL player. It's not a graduation. It's an ongoing thing, you know. And Galvin and Haywood and all that, they've all been a part of it, and they still are. Even though Galvin come to the club, he's obviously still getting all that. When you see him doing their stuff, the halves get together and go through specific drills and all this sort of stuff. Same with the hookers. And you'll see Mitchy Woods down there doing stuff with the hookers as well, the passing. They're all doing that skill work. The kicking, they're all doing the kicking work. You know, the planning, the management, all the stuff you can say about halves, they're all learning that. And it takes time. Nothing teaches people more than in the game experience. But to get picked, you have to be able to consistently demonstrate high levels of fitness and resilience. And this is what I say, guys. The trainers and the coaches, they've got the GPSs, they've got all this stuff. And for the most part, and they've got their processes, and they have to rely on those processes. If they just start picking blokes out on gut feel, I reckon if you put him in there, it doesn't work that way. You know, if you give this guy a run, I reckon he'll show something a little bit more than he's been showing. You know, or he'll show more than the bloke that's in there at the moment. Maybe that can happen, but you've got to trust your processes. You've got to trust the stuff that gets you through your day to day. You can't just sit there and go away from that because someone thinks it might work, you know, or because, and again, I'll say it again. If you're a podcaster or a fan, and if you're saying the coach is stubborn because he's not picking the replacement players that other people agree with you and say should be replaced, your brain's not thinking. They're not listening to you, nor should they. There should be no survey from any coaches, and we say this every week, taking into account what fans think about who should play. They've got enough eyes. They've got enough people with experience that are living the day-to-day. It's not just the coaches there. There's people around the organisation who give their thoughts. There's ex-players. There's the whole thing. A lot of them stay out of it. Some of them are profiting from it through their own podcasts or through media. But to think that they don't sit there in a conversation and say, what do you think about this? Or this is what I'm seeing. What's happening there, you know? If they think, what do they think Cameron Ciraldo just lives in a fucking bunker and hides himself off from the world and doesn't listen to anyone, you know? Like, I just don't get it, Gas. I don't understand.
Yep.
Why people are that vain, or is that the word?
Yeah.
They actually think the coach, they type something into a Facebook group
And they should be listening to that.
and that's them being listened to by the club. I swear some people think that these Facebook groups are actually run by the club.
Why do you think they get upset when they turn them off? They were critical the other day when they turned off the chats. Beside themselves.
That's the pages themselves, but
I
I'm talking
know.
about some of our groups. They think our group is the club's. We're just we're just fans.
That's right. Having to say, guys, like you. Let's get through a few chats, guys, while we're doing that. Maddie's saying the Panthers will lose again because they play us one more time. Maybe, hopefully more than once, mate. Didn't think we won the game at 12-0 with 30 minutes based on what we've seen this year. Abraham saying we never win at Combank. Yeah, it is a bogey ground for us, guys. No, this year is not. It is still a top 8. I think in AFL, guys, it's changed, not in the rugby league. They've gone to the new 10 now, so they've got the one where you play off for those extra spots, but not in NRL yet. Yeah, if you look at their ladder, you'll see it on the AFL. I think they will drop a game after Origin. Watch out for the Bali belly, mate. The this Bulldogs round will be in Bali late August as well. Old fella Dave. Well, I won't be wearing my jersey because it will be bloody hot. Yeah, mate, just wear one of the training shirts, mate. They're nice and light, so it gives you a bit of sun protection as well. Timmy, they have proven already without their Origin reps they can win. Going to Allianz Stadium to watch Australia versus Turkey Sunday. Aki, that's good to hear, buddy. I was wondering who that was. 2 p.m. So what are they having, a fan sort of thing? Are they doing like a live venue thing? Okay.
Is that starting this Sunday, the World Cup?
Starts soon, yeah, this week. Yep. They finished their last round of trials. We had a 1-1 with Switzerland the other day, so we had a
I've watched every game, but I thought it was like another 3 or 4 weeks away.
No, it's coming around really fast.
It was in July. What's my head?
I hope the Bulldogs bring some games to the Central Coast next year. Okay. Tony reinvesting after the Jersey win. That's it, mate. Yeah,
giving back.
Bean counters, mate. They've checked the numbers. Everything looks good. Let's pop it out. Broncos lost to the Dragons. Anything's possible. We can win the comp. There you go. Even though the game was ugly, it was entertaining. Yeah, it was 0-0, but it didn't feel like a 0-0 game at the halftime. It was still, a lot of good stuff there. Evening, boys, 11 games left, 6 home, and we only leave Sydney twice. That's right. We only go to Seabus and we go to Melbourne. After these 2 buys, we should be re-energized to make a push. Let's hope so, guys. Let's hope we do what we haven't done the last 2 years and come home with a wet sail.
That's it.
I really want to be the team, guys, that everyone's like, oh, shit, we're playing the Bulldogs. We don't want to be playing the Bulldogs because we're coming home hard. We've got our defense, which, the brick wall was back the other day, guys. We only conceded 12 points in a high scoring comp at the moment. Doesn't matter who you're playing. So brick wall was back. Brian, we can still win the comp as long as we don't concede 50. That's right. Still haven't done that yet, boys and girls. Penrith had the confidence issue first 13 rounds last year. A team does go through these confidence lapses, and they had some injuries as well on top of that. So, and we've had injuries as well. Shifty has the best short kicking game. Bring him down. Shifty is Rhett's GOAT. Good to hear, buddy. G'day, Pete. Welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing well, mate. Good job with the All Things Bulldog page, mate. Looking good.
Hey,
Timmy's still rating the Storm to make the 8. If we lost 68-0, yes, we would get all the talk. Tigers don't have Gus. There you go.
Tony.
If we get the next month right, we're still a chance. Look, this season is still open, guys. Things can move very fast. It can move very fast. Flano had 3 years to build that roster. Well, look, the challenge that he's had as well, guys, is people didn't want to go to the Dragons. And they've only now started to get a few players. But look at some of these players. Some of them at their senior years, over 30 as well. It's hard. It's hard to get players out there at the moment, guys. It's been hard for a while. We took quite a few cracks at some players before we finally got like a front rower. It wasn't it wasn't the first person we tried to get. So it's hard sometimes just to get players that it's a bit limited with all these extra teams coming in, etc. So Flanagan did what he thought he was, what was good. But you know what? They've been competitive in the last sort of year and a half as well in games. It's just they just haven't got the result. They've lost a lot of close games.
I actually think they were trying to mirror their sort of style on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Like they were trying to become more gritty, and I think they were picking players based on that effort stuff, and
they
were in. But as you know, if you're that side that's in there and having all these close losses, eventually you start getting flogged because the players just give up because they're just like out of option, and that's still a big worry for us. That's still a chance to happen to us guys. Like
if we bail out at the end of the season, we're not going to make it. It could happen. We could start getting hammered towards the end of the year.
But at the other end, they can also release the shackles and start going on a run because of it.
Well, we've had that in those last 8 years when we were struggling. We'd win those last few games to boost. But I think we're in a different position this time. So hopefully they don't drop their standards either way. I'm hoping that we're going to go the other way, make a run and push into the top 8 and start being a nuisance team. I'd love to be that nuisance team all the way to the finals, guys, and deep into there as well.
True.
Timmy's saying Manly have peaked too early and will miss the top 4. There is a poll up there now, guys, if you just want to answer that one as well. There it is there, guys. Can we overcome Fosball after the bye? Number 1, if you think it's 1, put number 1 and send message. 100% we can beat anyone. That's what's come back so far. 2, no chance. Let's see the pessimists out there. And 3, let's discuss how together, which we will be doing soon as well. Galvin and Berta are both off the cuff. That's why I find it disappointing for players not to be there waiting and just reacting to late hints, not being there in support from line breaks before the kick. 100%. Those kinds of players, like we all saw the way Galvin plays the game when he runs off the cuff and just and Berta, everybody knows he loves to scoot out of dummy half or get that pass, and then you can see him when he's just putting the accelerator, and he puts the foot down and bang, punches through the line. Sometimes he'll get out the other side. Other times it'll be a good tackle just to stop him. That's where he needs those players coming with him as well. So you're right, Brian. We need more of those people being supported.
I think we're also very deep in it. We're very deep. Like they seem to be very deep, and I think that's due to just try and give the guys some space. I just feel they're playing with they're expending a lot of energy, and it's
you can take the next one, mate.
I don't get how you guys are defending Hayward. You could see how forwards were dominating. Hayward can get a single one of them over the advantage line. 0 creativity is a right. I think you need to go and watch the fucking game again. Not one player got over the advantage line. Are you kidding me? So we didn't dominate. Are you kidding me?
Well, maybe his advantage line is the try line.
We couldn't get anyone over the advantage line. Look, we don't, and I'm telling you, that's what I mean. You guys are singling out a player. We've given you the context around it. He's in development. He's a good player playing that role. Remember JMK? He wasn't a hooker. Everyone said he wasn't a hooker.
Developed him into a hooker.
Oh, but he ran the ball.
Yep.
Yeah. He used to run the ball and then try and do too much. And then
now he's one of the best players for the Dolphins.
He is one, but he breaks down all the time. He's on more money than Marnie now.
Yep.
And he chose to leave. He had an option to stay or go. and he chose to leave. He was on 350 at the Dogs. He left for 280 at the Dolphins, and then got him within 12 months, got himself a $700,000 contract. Oh, Bailey Hayward.
Marnie
is thrown
was
into
supposed to be there this year. That's the thing.
We keep saying it.
Yep.
There's no better option. And it's not even that. He's the best. He's the fittest player for that role.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many players break their body trying to play in the hooker? What Parramatta, like Talon De Silva can't start. If he starts, he can't do what he did in that game yesterday. When he starts, he's out of juice. It's hard. It's real hard. And it's not as simple as just going and signing a $600,000 hooker. They've, as I said, keep saying to people, it's not the same team with the same opportunity of coming off the same playing field. It's not. It's location. It's the past. It's where your money's tied up. And all these manufactured time limits that we give coaches and clubs to get things done are just irrelevant to the actual thing. Like some coaches, not saying they do everything perfectly, no. And there's ones that'll win and ones that won't win. And few win and most won't. But this guy, Bailey Hayward, is putting his body on the line. To say he's got no creativity is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That little grubber was creative. He didn't execute it as well as he would have liked. Left him off the hook. And that comes down to pressure, playing under pressure. The expectations of the coach are that they play under this pressure and that they succeeded. And eventually, and we talk about that trust. That trust will dissipate if they don't get results. And underneath all of that, they're developing the players that they believe are going to take them through to the future. And that's just as simple as it is. They've manufactured a team of fringe players and whoever else to get us to where they are. And I'll keep going back to it. You only have to go to your comments on Facebook years ago and all this stuff everyone was saying about all these players that were brought to this club. Oh, Crichton's a centre. Oh, he's not a good fullback. He's not going to do nothing for this team. I think I even felt that at one point. Right? All these Max King, Kurt Mann. That's what two people were excited about Kurt Mann. There was Jamin Salmon. You know.
Still going on.
They're still going on about it. These guys were brought to the club to get it off its knees and to give the fans something and to give the club a chance and give it some hope. And that's what they've done. Just STFU about Hayward. He is getting better all the time. You're writing him off like he's not got no creativity. We'd like that process, that journey for him to speed up a bit. Yes, of course we would.
What's the example we spoke about Ennis about with his start to his career?
Yeah, people act like Michael Ennis was the finished product when he started. It just comes down to the fact that our fans are holding on to this fantasy that we were going to be a contender for the title last year until there was changes made. That's it. And I can get where it comes from, but it's not the reality. They know. But it's also this other thing. Do you think Gus and Ciraldo are actually going to go and tell those blokes, we don't believe you can win a comp? Ciraldo believes they can win. Yeah, of course he does. but they also know the difference between having Nathan Cleary and Dylan Edwards and all these players and Isaiah Yeo and all these guys that have played together for a decade and for 5 years before they even made NRL are still there, beating every team easily except for the Dogs. and like, I'm just lost for words. Like, we need to be able to back these boys that they're and not be so critical. Hayward is busting his ass. He should be valued for his contribution and what he's doing for that team. And if you tell me a better option, and he's only going to get better and better. Next one. I needed to hurry up. Let's look at the Bulldogs' predicted lineup. Yeah, the chats are the chats.
No, this was a good comment that Timmy made. Timmy, one of your best today, mate. I agree with this one. If Max King doesn't get injured in the Penrith game, I don't believe we'd lose 5 games in a row.
Yeah,
I agree
good
with
comment,
that one,
mate.
Timmy. I agree with that one.
You win, Timmy. That was a good one. And I think we said it as well. But no, that doesn't count for us because Leo Thompson came in. He was and he should have made a difference because he's on 800,000. He should have made a difference from round 1, and we should have won, apparently. Look, I'm thinking of hiring someone to come on and just say all this negative shit, and so we can argue with them because we agree too much. Hoping to get that Bulldogs fan on here. He reached out and he's looking forward to coming on. He's doing a good job, getting around all the games and building his YouTube channel up. It's all positive stuff, just supporting the Bulldogs. Love it. And we're also hoping to get another great fan on here.
He was sick this week, mate. That's why I'll come back to you on that one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
He's coming on.
He's coming on, yeah.
Yeah, Brave Dog. Brave Dog's coming on, guys. And it'll be good to see him on. Let's talk about the Bulldogs' predicted lineup versus Manly. Now, this is the side I think that Ciraldo will pick if everyone's available come 12 days, which I think they will be. Tracy
Black jersey
Kiraz,
game. Black jersey game, boys.
Black jersey game. There's Tupanua and Birdo. Tracy Kiraz, Cherry, Crichton, Tuala, Burton, Galvin. Same back line as we saw against the Eels. King, Mann back into the 9 starting role. Thompson, Curran, Tupanua, Salmon. Interchange of Hayward, Hayes, Underhill. I've got Jones in there, but he may spend a couple of weeks in Cup. O'Sullivan, Montoya, or Inakama. And those two could actually be in that side. For me, I reckon Marcello comes in. Montoya is going to need to have a game of footy at some point soon. Hughes, Jed Reardon, and either Gordon Chan, Tong or Conti, but they may even just pick both the wingers in Montoya and Rinakama in the 23. But I think we're going to see a very similar side to what we saw against the Seagulls. Part of me was going.
I would make a change to that.
We'll talk about the changes that we would make in the prediction side. This is a predicted side.
Now, even what I think is predicted, I think the predicted side, I think for me would be if I had to.
Curran and Salmon might swap around.
No, I'm talking about in the back line. I'd put NRE in for Cherry again. I think Cherry only came back when there was injuries. I don't think he's done. He had one game against Melbourne, but I don't think he's done what he's supposed to be doing, and I still don't think he's executing. I think we'd be better off.
Do you think the coach is going to drop him for 2 weeks away?
I think there's a chance. I don't think he's getting the results that he should be getting, and I think we're missing a lot of opportunities with the way he's been playing. We saw that against the Tigers. We saw that again the other day. I think is just lacking in confidence in getting that pass away. He's got that run first mentality, and he doesn't look to give the ball unless he has to. And even recently, his handoffs aren't working. He tried to bat one the other day. He could have caught, just down on confidence in that area. That was some of the reasoning why he was replaced by Tuala in the first place. I think Tuala's a little bit wasted on the wing for us. I would rather have Tuala in there and drop Cherry out, and I'd bring Jethro or Montoya into the team.
All right. So, Gas, you would drop Cherry and bring in Tuala into centre and either play Montoya or Rini Kama as the other wing. Would you change the fullback? So, I've put out a prediction. Let's go with what you would prefer.
I think Tracy's earned his position over the course of the last 2.5 years. I don't think I know that Carraz is a great backup and he might do well moving forward. And I think the next time Tracy gets injured, he might not get that spot back if Carraz takes it. But I still think Tracy's got the runs on the board there. And Carraz showed us yesterday that even though he's on the wing, he can still be just as effective and support and do his job and have that same workload. So Tracy for me, I wouldn't change that again at the moment. But that's only, like I said, one injury away or one something away from having that switch. But it also comes down to Carraz being 100%. I don't think he's 100%. So unless he's firing, I would have the fitter player at the moment in the back line. And we saw that against the Tigers. Carraz was cramping up badly. I know he's stuffed his calf up, but we lost him towards the end of that game, and he had to come off, and we needed him out there. So, on the wing yesterday, he was able to control a bit of that. And there's a lot more running in fullback going on across side to side, back, and everything. So Tracy, sort of at the moment for me, has still got the runs on the board to keep his spot. But in the second rowers, I think at the moment, the way they've got that predicted, I would have that sort of with Curran there and Salmon back at lock. And then, Man starting again is not a bad option, especially against Manly with their big boys. I wouldn't mind seeing, 20, 30 minutes out of Man and then Hayward playing the last 50, and then he can be a little bit more attacking there as well. So, pretty much the rest of that looks okay. There's some good options there for us. But for me, the big one, I would actually drop Cherry again.
There you go. What about in the forwards? Any changes you would make?
No, like I just said there, I would pretty much keep the ones there. The only changes will come through players coming back like Preston and Kicks eventually. At the moment, the ones we've got are going well. So, the forwards are not the problem for us at the moment. It's your creativity in the back line that is letting us down.
I'd definitely move Curran to the left edge. And that's not a given that's actually going to happen. I'm predicting they'll go with a change, but probably should put it more under what I would prefer. I think Hayes, I want to see Hayes back off the bench with his energy. I think Underhill is starting to learn, like backing up in the NRL. I think he may get a rest soon, but I'll keep him there. On effort, I'm not sure. Maybe Sam Hughes actually comes back into that rotation, and that would also be interesting as well.
Yep.
What can Sam Hughes do after King and Thompson knock down that front door early on? The Manly pack has got some good workers in it. They got a very fast back line, and I think that Taniela Paseka is a big in for them this year. He's I think that's his first name. He's done very well, and he's a bit of an enforcer. Like, he's had that grounding. They've worked on him, stuck with him for a long time. I sort of look at him and Totola at South Sydney as there's two blokes that I feel haven't gone to the levels they needed to go. Hamali Olakawatu will be a difficult proposition
after
being dropped
potentially. Yeah,
I think it's the right call. I think we need more of that workman like on an edge, and I just think the game doesn't come to Olakawatu in Origin, whereas for Manly the game definitely he's definitely a big part of their plans, and Queensland is just going to work him over. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to use these big guys, and have the team that can do it. And I just don't think whatever we're doing suits him the best. But he's a very, very good player. I think Dylan Lucas, to me, he's like a Preston type bloke as far as what he means to his club and his youth and his energy and everything he tries to do for his team. I think they see Hudson Young in a similar role at Canberra, but I also see Hudson Young as someone who red lines and costs tries as much as he scores them and stuff. But that's just my thought. I think he's a really good player and deserves all the credit he gets. I am taking out Bronson Cherry and putting in Anari Tawala if Crichton is fine to go. And into the wing position, I'm bringing in Jethro Renakama. I just think we have to keep going with this. I actually look. I don't mind playing Cherry, having Cherry on this 23-man bench. So this probably at number 19 or 20 with a player like Montoya.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't mind actually seeing Bronson come on for 20 minutes through the middle.
Impact, yeah.
Just as impact. Get in there, make some tackles, go in low. And he's good. He could change the point of the attack because he likes to run around and do stuff. Now, the one thing is you need people to follow him. You need, and for him to find an offload or a pass or just get away a quick play the ball. He could be dynamic. There's players with a similar mold to him that have come through that have been good players and contributors for teams. And I just think we're not seeing that explosiveness either. Is that we've expected what I expected from Cherry is we're going to see a guy who pins his ears back and scores tries. And we're seeing it in part, but never to the level that I thought he was going to get to or could get to. And maybe he still has that opportunity, and maybe that still happens. But from what we're seeing, it hasn't yet. It may not. Same thing with Tracy. I think he has earned his spot over time. But I think the confidence is the problem, Gas. And if the confidence in getting plays done, maybe they have to have him coming in doing some grubbers and stuff and having those little moments, little grubbers in behind, whether Critter does it. There has to be some things that they work teams over with, that they know that's coming, that they practice these things and get people retreating off them. It's hard for me to go in between predicted and what I prefer. I back a side like that to be picked. I back Cherry to be picked. But if I was changed, that would be a change I make. I think I agree 100% that Tawala is more effective in the centres, and I'd like to see someone a bit taller to be an aerial threat when we do that play for that kick. Outside of Critter to have a bit more option there as well. And that's another thing too. Like Preston was an aerial threat for us too, wasn't he? He was going up for bombs and
correct
and whatever else. I think Curran can, but he's not the best at that. Yeah, so maybe like I'm bringing Cherry back to this bench and elevating Rennie Karma, and then potentially looking at, well, can we use Cherry in a game? Can he do something for us? Can he bring some energy? Can he make tackles in the middle? Moving way forward, what I want to see is Satili Tupanua stay on that right edge. I want to see Preston come in back to left edge.
And kicks off the bench.
And I want to see kicks coming off the bench. Right after coming on after King and Max King comes off after 25.
Mm.
And Viliami Kikau goes on there, ballistic for 20 minutes. That's what I want to see. Offloading in the line, just running amok, kamikaze, taking people out, creating excitement through that centre, taking advantage of what these two blokes have done in the middle. I think that can be a transition for him. A lot of players have made that transition from that edge player. Tyson Frizzell, for example. I think it's time for Kikau to play that simpler game. He'll be buggered after 20. They reckon after that Panthers win, he couldn't get out of it was like Rocky 4 at the start of Rocky 5 in the showers after he fought Ivan Drago.
Mm.
His head was ringing and he couldn't get up. He was just sitting there in the shower, could barely get up off the floor. Like he exerted so much in that game for the Bulldogs to get that win. Obviously meant a lot to him. This is what people can't understand about that West loss. So many ex-Panthers in there to allow 68-0.
Yep.
But what Pete said something to me today that apparently there's been a big complaint, and there was a number of decisions or some things that happened that, and refs are going to be all stood down. Like Atkins won't be reffing this week apparently, something to do with that. I've just heard that as a rumor. Not sure. It might be true. I just don't know the sources and whatever else. Other than, and Pete's usually right about these things. I'm sure he's heard it from somewhere authentic. So yeah, and look, I wouldn't mind. I'd put Gordon Chan Kum Tong at 23, just as a signal that he's up against his old team. Training with the top 30. Well, he is anyway, but training with these guys, maybe in the run-on side, or who knows. I think they've increased his minutes, and I just think that would be a nice little reward. Maybe he gets into the 17 or the 19. Who knows?
Let's have a look at some chats, mate. Brian is supportive. Our forwards were dominating the ruck. You know that it was Hayward feeding them the ball to help them dominate the ruck, which means they were getting over the advantage line. Yep. Someone who
100%, Brian.
Closely.
So fucking ridiculous.
Could the Dogs possibly re-sign Conts if he keeps coming up with those players consistently and if he keeps improving? Can't see why not. Trent from Punchy. Punchy's in the house. Yep.
But let's finish answering mine.
Go for it.
As you'll see, Broden Cons is behind about 5 other props or 4 other props. Okay, he's on a New South Wales Cup type contract, one of those type of contracts. He's not on much money, obviously. He's playing Ron Massey Cup. But they got him for a reason. He's obviously made of the right stuff. He's obviously a good human. These are all boxes that have to be ticked. Probably has good relationships with the playing group, all this sort of stuff. Maybe he is someone who stays in our system for another 12 months and gets an opportunity at some point. But I find it hard just to look past AJ Jones and Finau Latu and Jack Underhill and even Jack Todd. Look, he's got the Trebojevic headgear on now, the bubble headgear, which should probably give him a bit of confidence, and I'd like to see him get another season. But maybe Broden can get a New South Wales Cup contract, maybe even earn himself a development deal. Who knows? But I think he's made of the right stuff. But the difference between what he was doing on the weekend and what Underhill had to do for 30 minutes against the Eels in first grade is just you can't even really compare it. This is why we have to be careful. But He's doing really. Our Ron Massey Cup team is literally a chance of taking that comp out this year, which is phenomenal considering all the changes they have each week to their side and the amount of youth in that team. And he could be a big part of that. So, that's a good thing. And I love that comp. I love watching those games. It reminds me a lot of old school rugby league in some games. In other games, it's a complete blowout. It's like you get a bit of everything. It's good. Let's go.
Trent from Punchy. What's up, Habibis? Is that the lad from the crime family? James is one of the worst games I've seen in a long time. So boring. That's your opinion. Gordon and Marty's clone brought back the biff. Yeah, they did in the
Riley Smith, yeah.
Fino Latu was strong.
He did pretty well. And that was good minutes for him to get in. See, that's what I mean. He's going no shortcuts. Back to Jersey flag. Now he's back in Cup, off the bench, increasing his minutes. Helps though when you've got 60% ball over the whole game.
Yep.
Helps a lot.
Manish Fano get the NRL green light next season.
Oh, did he? Apparently, who was West Tigers are looking at getting him.
Bulldogs New South Wales Cup will play Manly at Scully Park in a few weeks. Nico Mealy was on fire. Yep.
100%.
Where is Sully? He should be at 7. You haven't 6.
Did you say that on? Did you say that on the Kennel podcast, Trent, or what?
How did the young Dragons bloke go when they threw him in a team down in confidence? Yeah, that's right. Record Anzac score, wasn't it? Bobcat Ryan is the king.
Parramatta, great.
Are we doing Jersey flag stats?
G'day, Nathan. Good to see you, mate. Had a chat with Nathan on Messenger. We're disagreeing about some stuff, but we're having a nice chat afterwards, and that's exactly how we love it. And now you're on the podcast saying hello, so welcome to you.
I support the Cowboys, but I like your channel. That Nick who supports the Cowboys channel is a nuffy. Aki saying that the World
That's
Cup
probably
starts Thursday.
I reckon Trent from Punchy is Nick the nuffy. I bet you that is you, mate. on Instagram. I know who you are. You're wearing the glasses and stuff. That's why he's called himself Trent from Punchy. He's got a second YouTube account. Coming to say hello to the Bulldogs to learn some stuff about the fans are saying so he can make some content. Yeah, we know, mate.
Last round for Reynolds and Haas. Do you think Berto will leave the Dogs by the end of the year and is Woods going to be at 7 next year?
As I keep saying, like I said some nice stuff about Woods, but he has to make the field and play, and that's been a challenge. Burton's not leaving by the end of the year. I don't see that happen at all. What I see happening, unless the Bears are like, we'll give you, can we take him for $1 million and pay out his contract for next year and all this sort of shit? And the club's like, yeah. But as we said a few weeks ago, Matt Burton, what he gets paid, and whether he stays a Dog will determine whether he wants to take the money on offer based on how he finishes this season, especially. So his teammates need to step up. He needs to step up. I still feel there's a lot of inconsistency there, but I still think he's by far the best 6 in our club.
Yeah. And if we get on a roll, he's going to be a dangerous player. If we get on a roll, he will just complement the way we play so well, especially with second phase play, those offloads, the way that we create that space around the edges and just dominate. Like he will drive a lot of that stuff as well.
Defensively, he's a lot better.
He's a lot better, correct? Yeah.
But there is laziness there that you just cannot. If you're watching him closely, which a lot of people do, I think they say he's a center. He's a center probably because he should go hang out in the centers and run occasionally. I think there's so much to him in his game that is so beneficial to what we've been doing. But you can see that the club is preparing players to be able to kick long and to be able to, if you've got good forwards and stuff, you don't have to have someone kick it 90 metres. You know, if you're able to make ground through the ruck and all that sort of shit. But God, it helps. It makes you even more dangerous.
Yeah.
If a player like him can be just activated consistently at an 7 or 8 out of 10 every week, and then have a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 game every few weeks, or every 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. I think from Matt we get between a 5 and a 7 here and there, and then sometimes he's just doing his job and he does it well, and it's not about him. Other people shine, and then there's the times where he really stands up, and you know we don't win the game without him, and that's worth something. And sometimes you just got to have those people in your squad. But what you pay them is a big deal, and that's obviously going to be a hard thing to work out. Let's go to Andy.
Andy, great stuff, guys. Really good to hear your feedback on the results. Thank you, buddy.
Good to see you, mate. Come say hello in the chats.
Trent from Punchy wants Critter to go to fullback for a freshen up. Mate, he's
freshen up at fullback. There's nothing fresh about fucking fullback, I tell you that much. Trent from Punchy.
Spinks and Gordon.
I'll call you that other bloke.
Yeah. Debut against Manly. Thanks, Timmy.
Look, Spinks is getting close, Timmy, as you said. I just think with the ball, great. Without the ball in that level, he's going good. It's going to be a big step up. I just think right now, I don't know. I'd rather debut him on an edge than through the middle, but that's probably how it's going. He's probably going to have to come on through the middle, have a run.
It's probably like a current injury away potentially, something like that. Or a salmon injury. Like the offload Birdo made yesterday, pass it to an Eels player, probably called for it, mate, and he got upset about that bad sportsmanship. The
guy was beside him too, and the other guys weren't that, and he'd only just made the break.
I know. It was early in the tackle count too. Jez Litton, fingers are too fat for the dial on the phone. Yeah, we'll have that problem, mate. I watched Super League highlights and Toby Sexton isn't doing much for Catalan. Yeah, no surprise there, guys. Max King was good on the weekend. Crikey, yep, that's right, mate.
Bloody oath he was, mate.
I think there's still development players like what Pat Young's doing, but needs to work on defensive yet. Timmy, we keep highlighting that, mate, and he is working on that. That's what you do when you're in Ciraldo's system. You keep focusing on defense. Grubb was the only natural talent and has a winning origin record. There you go.
And Timmy, they are exploring options all the time.
Yep.
By the way.
Is JT Shifty or Bar the greatest Bulldog ever? I don't think it'll be JT. It's hard to go past Terry.
Steve Folkes is the greatest Bulldog ever, in my opinion, if you're all clubman. But there you go.
I love the year, bro, dog. O'Neill. Yeah. We usually lift when they don a new jersey. Let's hope so, mate.
Said that today, Timmy, actually, to somebody else. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ate the eel. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree with, don't like singling out a player, but Sherry is one I've been disappointed in. Well, we've been talking about, I've been speaking about him since before, before Vegas, basically. Yeah, he's the player that has to improve. And like Michael just said there, like we're expecting him to have that speed, have all these attributes and stuff that we know he's got, but for one reason or another, doesn't have the confidence, or something's missing there where he's not exploiting his strengths, guys. He's got it there, but he's just not using it for some reason. So Tuala is way better in the centres. Also, we look better with Montoya in the side. Yes, he's not the fastest, but he plays like an extra forward. It helps us get over the ad line. Yep. Wouldn't mind Tuala centre and Dressler on the wing.
On the swing, Matty. On the swing, bro.
Come on. I tried to save you there, mate. Look, he still pulled you up, buddy. Carraz needs more training at fullback. It was needed, but I think the extra work at fullback is what hurt his calf too much too soon. Yeah, look, there's a lot of reasons, but he's a good option. He's a good backup. It's good to have options. And look, Tracy at a pinch can play wing as well if we had to. Hayes looks busted. Is he going to be good to go?
I know, Matty.
Flexor? Yeah, it was an interesting on that one.
They hurt.
The demotion of Hamali, yes, mate. We just spoke about that. Timmy. King and Thompson playing big minutes would suit Hughes' 20-25 minutes.
I think that's an option.
Yep. Are we doing
review.
the flag review? Maybe Michael. You might do another separate one for that. Maybe Michael. But you did actually. Michael did the review during the game today, guys. He was having it done through. Or did you do it through the? No, you didn't do it through the. That was us watching it. Yep. What about Cherry and Kicks and Presto spoke?
What about
Cherry in Kicks and Presto? Not sure there, Brian.
Cherry would be nice in Super League for York.
Out of left field, when fit, Satilli, Presto on the edges and Kicks off the bench. Yeah, that's what Michael just spoke about, and we've had that one before.
Matty, I think you and me are connected, bro.
There you go, mate. Curran will be nice for foil for Sorensen at the Bears next year. Yep.
I think they'll both do well and they'll have good years. Both of them. Yep, good call.
Evening, lads.
Hey,
G'day, John. Joined late, so I'll watch back later. Disappointing performance. I was at the game, calling that a nightmare. Forget about it. One to walk away from and on to the next. Yes, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get the frustration. We talk about the frustration in the Hollywood part of the game where we expect it's all the build up, it's all been set up, and here we go with the action piece that's about to happen, and it just fizzles out, and it's like, oh, that was a terrible episode. Making all these analogies today, it's great, but I still loved lots in that game. I was on edge the whole game. Like my gut was churning the whole game. Sitting forward in the chair, like stressed.
We'd grab the banner and then we put it back down again. It's like, come on, just anyway.
I don't think that's the players are feeling this. I think the players are a little bit the same. They're just so tense.
Yeah, that's right.
Wanting it so much. They want it so much and they can't get it. For people to say, oh, look, this dude on Twitter is saying that they're not the coach isn't motivating them. What about that game? Do the players not look motivated? Has motivation got anything to do with execution? You tell me. Maybe. What do you think, Gas?
Look, there's a whole combination of things when it comes to motivation. You can do everything, but it's at the end of the day, it's how you perform on the day. You can be ready. You can want it too much sometimes. You can be over. You can too much and want it too bad that you basically start tripping over yourself trying to get that result.
But you're still motivated.
But you're motivated, and that's the thing. Yeah. They were motivated. So you could see they were in for the game. They were keen. They were connected. They played well. When they got down the other end and in the position that they know that they've basically struggled with this year, they just couldn't get that finishing touch done. I mean, look, it took them one set from their first try to get the next try. And then it just fell back into a fizzle again. Like they just fell into their own, tripped over themselves again and tried things. They haven't really done a lot of, like some of these kicks on second, third, fourth tackle that they were doing weren't ideal for them. They weren't the right plays at the time. The idea of what they're trying to do is there, but they're not getting the execution right. And that's the thing. Motivation is not the problem. It's getting the right moment and the right thing done at the right time. And that's not an effort thing. That's, they're trying. So they're not trying, but it's just doing the right thing. There's probably an overload of information in their heads. It's not just coming from the coaching staff. It's probably coming from us as well. Like people talk, they hear it, they sit there, analyze their games. They talk to their managers. There's a lot of stuff going on, and they sit there going, how can I improve? How can I be better? What's going on? Like, they all will have their own little self-doubts at the moment, thinking that they're the ones, letting the team down. And they would have their one-on-one discussions with the coaching staff and all these other things where they'll do their reviews and they'll go through and they go, what could you have done better here if you had your time? What were you thinking at this point when you did this, when you kicked this, or what when you passed this? Or, Sherry, when you tapped that on, could you think you had time to catch the ball? Then give, like, all these little things they'll be going over. So, okay, next time we're in that position, what would we do? At the moment, motivation, I think, is there. The coach is bringing them up. He's supporting them, defending them, getting them up for the game. They don't even need that. Critter alone as the captain is bringing the team up. But I feel like his energy is also a little bit down on his usual self. And you saw that with his reaction the other day. I spoke about it earlier. When he scored that try, he brought out the big celebration because he knew that was important. But he knows, and he said it after the game, he knows he's been down on his form. But when he's playing at his best, the team will come with him. And I think they're kind of waiting sometimes for him to do something. And that's probably why we've had two of our best results this year without him being there against Penrith and Melbourne, because the guys have gone, you know what, we have to do it. And they did, when, Sherry and Berto, everyone had to lift. So sometimes you wait for something to happen, but it's not a motivation issue, guys. It's an execution issue.
Where these comments come from, and thanks for that, mate. They come from that people see Foz come in, and this is why I'm not the way the Manly are going isn't good for a lot of teams that struggle and get a new coach, because everyone will be looking for the next Fozball coach, and that's the thing. He's gone in with no expectation, nothing to lose, and they're actually winning, which never happens.
Yep.
But as you said earlier, had the roster, but people think, oh, he's got the ability to motivate them to perform, whereas Seabolt didn't. And I think that's where they come from when they say stuff like that. People watch games and they look at the outcome and the results and certain things, and then it pans onto Critter Galvin looking stressed, for example. And people who have stress issues themselves start thinking about how they would be dealing with what he's dealing with and trying to do that. And they think that it's that he's going to have a conniption and fail badly and be miserable. But the fact is, he's just stressed because he's probably already made 22 tackles and had 15 runs and a couple of repeat sets. And they've just failed on an important pass in an important part of the game, and it's stressful. And they want to win. They want to win every time. And he's young. There's definitely some frustrations out there. But yeah, for people to use the word they're not motivated. There's nothing about that team that tells me they're not motivated.
Yeah.
But it's
if they lost 68-0, yeah, you could say that.
If they start giving, and even when people said, oh, they gave up against the Dolphins, no, they didn't. You gave up. The scoreboard was bad. But it was individual stuff that just got, individuals failed. As we said, Connor Tracy probably needed to not play after that. Because he did, but he was highly impacted in that game and was the only one there that could do it. You'd hear about old mate talking about Connor the other day. Like, if people knew what he goes through, how tough he is. It was Carraz, actually.
Yeah.
Talking about Connor, the guy that everyone wants him to replace. Manny, Todd needs the Trebojevic headgear on his arms. That's rough, Matt. I said already gone there. Tiger Lala starting a petition for Matamua for lock, please. Yeah. It's a big. I know we saw him go all right in a trial match. But
he's not even locking down a cup spot at the moment, like to start as well all the time. So
it's not a popularity contest. It's he'll get his job when he's earned it. and he hasn't earned it yet. But I'm liking the way he's been the job he's been doing in Ron Massey and New South Wales Cup. Don't get me wrong, I like him. I think he's a good player.
Go back through the start of the thing, and we've spoken about that quite a bit. Abs.
Thanks, Abs. No worries. Burton to the coast, you reckon? I don't think they
Punchy's
can
throwing
afford. They've got no
Punchy's throwing
money.
a few out from left field today. Quite a few. I'm trying to be a bit creative there, Punchy. It's good stuff, buddy.
See you, Tommy. Tommy, this is what I mean. Like we sit there, blokes who I know that's a joke and a stupid one, but people sit there and think the answer's in reserve grade all the time. Even some good guys on this chat are thinking that, and it's not. I'm not going to go into it for again, but the fact of the matter is, Daniel O'Donnell and these players would not be able to get the job done in NRL right now. That's the guy playing Ron Massey hooker, Tommy. Hayward would absolutely destroy them in New South Wales Cup as a hooker. He would have an absolute field day. And it's sort of part of me goes when I talk about the certain decisions that are made, I sort of think if we'd started this year with Sauce at halfback and Galvin in reserve grade, by round 3, 4, 5, the entire, especially if we lost 3 games or whatever, the entire fan base would have been, why isn't Galvin in first grade? Because he would be carving it to just an absolute new level in that grade with what he's endured and taken on in NRL in the last. He's played 50 NRL games straight out of high school. So you're just talking about a kid who's just at another level to those guys. And yet you've still got dickhead commentators when he fails on a play say, that's elite halfback work. No one's ever said he's an elite halfback. No one in our club's ever said that. He's doing all right in the halfback spot, though. Any progress on the goose sound effect? Thanks, Manny. The thing about Jerry always steps in and nearly passes. All right, yeah. So that we said that as well, yeah. So give him a run in second row or throw him in the middle, maybe even. But what was that player played for South Sydney? He was in their team 2014, played for Queensland, played centre, played lock, played off the bench. Played Origin for Queensland. Won the comp with them. You'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
You won't be able to help you. You'll have to look it up now. I think Cherry could play a role like him, in my opinion. Trent saying too many teams in the comp. Yeah. Can we put Curran in lock, drop Jamin, and then get Spinks? Because a lot of times he slows the play. Well, I don't believe he slows the play at all. He straightens up the attack sometimes, and his passing's probably better. I think it's become something that a lot of people have just focused on.
It's about Chris McQueen. Chris McQueen,
yeah, him. I think Cherry can play a similar role to Chris McQueen, similar size from the eye test that I'm looking at.
Yep.
Choose the farm animal sound effects. Cherry's fine. The shape we're running is easy to defend because our fullback isn't a threat. Don't want to keep harping on about they playing well. They dominated even. Just couldn't convert those line breaks, half chance. Yeah, again, Paul, I talked a bit about this. That's you're fixated on it, mate. It's not the fullback. He has chimed in and been an effective fullback for the last 2.5 years, which is why he's earned his spot. Yeah, we probably want. I did an article at the start of the year. He's one of our most important signings because we don't have a fullback ready who can dominate in attack and do their job in defence. And that's just it. Until we develop one, And even if that means developing Jacob Kiraz, which has always been an option, I think that might be the long-term view. And as Gas said, it might be one more injury for Connor or something like that, and potentially he doesn't get that opportunity again. It's as we said in the New South Wales Cup commentary, if we lost on the weekend, and I think some people are in their silly minds are hoping that we did, so that because it was sort of looking like a complete make or break game against the arch enemy. The fallout would have been even worse if we don't get that win, and there would have been, I think, casualties for some players. That's just my thought, and maybe that's been extended for another 12 days. I don't know. But I do think with that 12-day break, those players will be so much better in our next game. And they will get some luck, and they will turn it around, and we'll go and turn Fozball into just another gimmick. It's a lack of motivation. It's not a lack of motivation. It's a lack of experience playing together. Our spine has had about a year together. Very true, Matty. Yep, they beat Penrith. There you go. Yep, we actually did. This is what we said, Paulie, 100 times. So you'll need to go and watch from the start, but we talk about that being on the front foot. Some fool tried to say that Hayward couldn't get anyone over the advantage line. Well, that was hilarious. Cameron needs to do something to credit his shoulder, and the team thinks he can do it on his own. We nearly shifted left the whole game. He needs body armour, does Jack Todd. Foz has simplified the game. Para's going to win the comp. You're lagging a bit. That's all right, bro. Timmy said Chris McQueen. Getting late. I'm out, lads. Great chat as usual. Thank you, old fella. A lot of armchair experts on here tonight with solutions from lower grades, which would make us worse. Yeah, it's always the way, Mike. The solution's always in reserve grade, but that's the thing. We become conditioned to that over 8 years. Go the Dogs. What positions need to be looked at to improve the Bulldogs for the future, may I ask? I think that's good for a discussion for next week. Dave suggested maybe Gas and I do a draft where we can pick any player from the comp to make a Bulldogs team, which could be an interesting exercise. We'll have a look at that. Everyone wants a Walsh or a Hammer. Not many have them. That's it. Or a Huss or a Carrigan or an Isaiah Yeo. What's the common denominator in all these players? Pretty much all of them are at the one club, with the club they started with, or they went to a place pretty early and have been there developing in a squad consistently over a long time. Can't wait for Ron Massey on the weekend, mate. And they haven't even named the full squad yet. Jed Reardon coming on at 9 looks comfortable there. Maybe he might be at the left field. Thoughts? No, Jed didn't come on at 9. He didn't play, mate. Might have.
No, he's asking if he comes on at 9. He might be comfortable there, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, John. Thank you, Gas.
He's thinking maybe a left field 9. He's thinking.
I've actually thought about it, John. I've actually thought about it, and it's just going to come down to he hasn't really done that role, but he looks like that. He's got that size about him. He's actually really good on an edge. What he did last year was phenomenal. It earned him a contract in New South Wales Cup, and it's earned him the next one. Thank you, Aki. We always go for 3 hours now, mate. It's a 3-hour show.
Keeping you up. Sorry, buddy.
Thought Leo Thompson was good. Best game for us, Renard tackle ball, but his long pass, his license is revoked. All right, guys. I think that's enough for tonight.
disappointing cricket, boys. The Aussies are going to lose to Bangladesh. First game of the one days. Doesn't look like it's going to be a good result today.
What are they in, a T20 or something?
1 wicket down and still
Is that a 55
it's a one
over?
dayer. Bangladesh 284, and we're currently 9 for 156.
Well. It's not the World Cup, is
Way
it?
behind with 80 balls to go. No, not yet.
Not...
No, it's just a tri series. Just a three game, and then a couple of T20s as well. Yeah. But we've got a lot of players out there that are not our full team, guys. Don't worry.
We lost to Pakistan, wasn't it? We played Pakistan and lost.
Yeah, we lost there 2-1. Yeah, we lost 2-1 as well. Yeah, spinning wicket, mate. That's right.
There we go.
All good, guys.
Your eyes will start getting jealous of the Dogs. They already are. Yeah, I think you'll be there next year. But we'll see. If we don't make the finals, there'll be some sort of fallout. There's always a tokenistic thing. All right, guys.
So good night.
Continue to spin the wheel on the next live. So what do we make today? We had 30 plus 50. So $66, so another $34, and we do another spin on that wheel. All right, people, thanks again for joining, saying hello. Thanks to everyone who contributed. Thank you, Aki. Thank you, John Bryan. Thank you, Bulldogs Mike, Matty Warren. Much appreciated. Thank you, Gas. Good job tonight, brother. And
thank you, guys.
It's time to go. Go the Ron Massey Cup. Go to the New South Wales women's team round 1 this week as well. Like the old Harvey Norman Premiership. And it's not long before the NRLW starts in July. Talk to you all later this week. Go the Blues, go the Dogs.
Welcome to the show.